Could it be? For me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to the Command Post Game Live show here on the Louie Tee Network. Disappointing loss, 20-17 to the Minnesota Vikings. Every opportunity to win that football game kind of feels a little bit like the Titans game in the fact that you feel like you should have won the game. You know, a game that stings a bit. Thinking about those two in particular, looking at our record, you could be sitting here at 6-3 right now. You should be sitting here at 6-3 right now. But I think it always goes back to the same thing that we talk about with this team in particular. We need a quarterback. And this is the cycle that we're going to find ourselves in every single year until we solve that position. I don't know if that guy's on the team or not. The only guy that it could be is Sam Howell. I don't think he's the guy either, but we don't know that without him actually getting an opportunity. And with us being right here in the middle of a playoff chase, he's not going to get that opportunity, unfortunately. And so you're kind of stuck. And if I'm Washington's staff, and they're a part of the problem too. Rivera was terrible today. We'll get to that, I'm pretty sure, throughout tonight's stream. But you've got to be searching for that answer next year. Again, we've been having this same conversation since Rivera got here in 2020. You know, he swung big in the offseason that year for Stafford. He missed. He swung big again, you know, last year for Russell Wilson and company. He missed again. He got Carson Wentz. That's clearly not the answer. And they're going to have to figure something out. And I just hope that they don't double down on Wentz after a disappointing year. He's going to come back from this injury. He's going to get an opportunity. I don't expect much from him when he does return. And I hope that he doesn't do enough to warrant coming back next year and just hoping that it's just magically better. We need a quarterback. Games like this, games like the Tennessee game, continue to confirm what we already knew. For those of you Heineke fans out there, this is why we continue to talk about him being a prolific NFL backup. I want him on the team, love his moxie, his heart, his determination, his grit. He's a gamer. That's what we hear all the time. But these are the problems. He had like 5 balls batted today. This guy's 6'0", if that. He threw a back-breaking pick against a team that couldn't move the football if we ran up and gave them the space. All we had to do was punt. That's it. With the way the defense was playing, they weren't going to go 90 yards and score a touchdown. The only way they were going to get in the end zone was on a short field, which he created by throwing a stupid interception that didn't have to happen. He had a wide-ass open receiver, a clean pocket, and he airmails it over the middle of the football field. No excuse for that. None. Not like the one last week where he's getting hit as he's throwing a football and it flutters. This one had no excuse to it. You can sit and bitch and complain about the pick six. I didn't love the call. I hated the call, as a matter of fact. That's good coverage. Should have been a pick six. Guess what? That's the football gods evening out the playing field. That's why I love football, because the football gods are going to make sure that shit goes the way it's supposed to. Because if we don't get an official who sets a stagger screen on a safety that's waiting on a pick, we don't even score our first touchdown of the game. And the game changed on that particular play. Really, you go back to the first half and the Benjamin St. Juste coverage and the interception by Danny Johnson, the momentum kind of shifted there. Right? And we parlayed that into a touchdown on the opening drive of the second half. But again, Taylor Heineke threw a YOLO ball up into triple coverage that a referee had to set a stagger screen to give Curtis Samuel an opportunity to go catch the football, or else it's a pick. So all the football gods were doing on that Benjamin St. Juste pick six was evening the score. All they were doing was balancing the playing field. Like, hey, you got one earlier. Here's the Vikings get back. And we had a chance. Not like that play gave the Vikings the ball at the 1 yard line and they scored a play or two later. They still had to march it down the field. We still had 2 third downs after that to get off the football field, and we failed. And we gave up a big ball to Justin Jefferson. After a juice sack, put him in second and forever. So we had our opportunities. We had our opportunities in the game. Gave up a field goal there. Great job by the defense. And then you get the interception thrown, right? Defense still has a chance, but you're asking a lot now. You're asking a lot. That's a great throw by Cousins as well. Touchdown, tie game. But you get the football back. Go make something happen. 3 and out. 3 and out. Right back to the Vikings. Matter of fact, I think you even got a penalty that gave us an opportunity to keep the football, and you still gave it right back 3 plays later. We self-destructed. We had success in the palm of our hands, up 10, and we didn't know what to do with it. We were staring 5-4 with a 4-game win streak, with a meeting and a date with the Philadelphia Eagles right in the face on a Monday night in a massive game, and we didn't know what to do with it. We pissed down our legs. The moment was too big for us. We got scared. Success is too much for us. We didn't know how to handle it. And it's a shame for guys like Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, Benjamin St-Juste, Bobby McCain, hell, Kendall Fuller, who played their asses off today. Hell, even Danny Johnson, who just got off the practice squad, came in and was playing ball. Cam Curl, these guys deserved a victory today. And the offense refused to give it to them. That's a shame. Because after that initial drive, the defense was lights out. Lights out, baby. They're gaining confidence on that side of the football. Gaining confidence on that side of the football. And unfortunately, our offense is incapable of matching that energy. I keep talking about the same shit every week. You're not going to keep scoring 17 points and think you're going to win football games. I don't know who the hell you think you're going to be. These aren't the Indianapolis Colts. They ain't the Chicago Bears. Not the Green Bay. You're not going to keep scoring 17 damn points and think you're going to keep winning games. That's the shit you did last year. You thought it was cute and fun when you won 4 in a row. You thought 17-15 was going to win every game. Newsflash. Teams can actually score points in this league. And we almost got away with this shit again today. They've got to stop thinking that 17 points is okay. Because it's not. It's not okay to score 17 points and expect to win. The defense, again, and I've said this all season long, even when we were struggling defensively, since week 2 against Detroit, the first 2 weeks, the defense wasn't good. Against Philadelphia, the defense was good enough to win. You can laugh if you like. Defense was good enough to win. The offense was atrocious. Against Dallas the next week, defense good enough to win. Offense still a laughing matter. Still a laughing matter. Still a joke. Week 5. Keep saying the same shit over again. Defense good enough to win. Titans game, even though they gave up some plays and you're pissed off about them giving up a 61-yarder and they gave up 100 yards to Derrick Henry, most of it in the first half, still good enough to win. I can keep going on and on and on. This defense has been good enough to win since week 3. And unfortunately, like some of the other teams in the league that have really good defenses but have a question mark at quarterback, i.e. Denver, and some of these other teams that just refuse to win on a consistent basis because of what they have at the quarterback position, it's frustrating. Hell, the Indianapolis Colts could argue the same thing. A better quarterback, and they're probably not sitting there at 3, 4, or 5 now and 1 with better quarterback play. They've had issues on the offensive line. We can sit here and make all the excuses we want, but the bottom line is we have to play better offensively, and bringing Carson Wentz back isn't going to fix what's broken with this offense. It starts with Scott Turner. How about a 4th and 1 and you decide you want to go rogue and run a bootleg? Now you want to run a goddamn bootleg. When the shit is open on 2nd and 3, you don't want to run it then. Now it's 4th and 1. Now you want to get cute and run a bootleg. It's 4th and inches. To hell with 1. It's 4th and inches. Run the quarterback sneak. What are you doing? Dumb. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Every week we complain about Scott Turner. I try to tell you guys it's not that bad. No, Scott Turner is a problem because he's too damn smart for his own good. He's too damn smart for his own good. Late in the game, momentum is totally shifted. First of all, can we get some more Antonio Gibson in at running back? They acted as if Brian Robinson was killing this shit today or something. I bet you he didn't average 3 yards a carry. I'm going to say Brian Robinson had 18 carries for 48 yards. That's my guess. 13 carries, 44 yards. Gibson wasn't much better, but there were some runs in there where I'm like, if that's Antonio Gibson, that's a much bigger run than that shit that Brian Robinson just did. Like, our backfield is uninspiring right now. And I think the usage of the backs, and look, it didn't feel like this watching it, but Gibson had 11 carries. All right. Robinson had 13. It didn't feel like it was that close. Felt like there was a bigger disparity there. But the bottom line is I wasn't impressed with Brian Robinson's hit in the run game today. None of them. He looked indecisive. He seemed to not be able to pick a hole. He didn't press and cut it back. I thought that he ran into guys too often, stopped his feet. He's not a fast enough guy to stop his feet and then pick up his speed again and be able to reaccelerate. He's got to be moving at all times forward. That's his strength. I didn't see that from him. Too much cutting him, bouncing outside like you about to do something with that. You're not outrunning anybody. So I wasn't impressed with the play calling, per usual. I wasn't impressed with the running game, per usual. And I thought Taylor Heinicke, again, like normal, had his moments, but he was Taylor Heinicke. So that's where this team is right now. Unfortunately, the Vikings are the second best team in the NFC. Record-wise, they're the second best team in the league. They've got the second best record in football. We had them on the ropes by 10 with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I'm just telling you, this team is good enough to beat anybody in this league. But the problem is, offensively, we're not good enough. I thought special teams was good today. I thought the defense was great today. We needed one more stop from the defense. Unfortunately, they didn't have it in them. That sucks. But the offense put them in some tough spots. In that small, the Vikings had 7 points after 52 minutes of football. They had 7 points. They scored 10 points in 3 minutes in this football game. 10 points in a 3-minute span. And it's pretty much all due to the offense regurgitating all over itself. They had a chance to shut the faucet off, and I didn't like the call. And we were this close to 24-7. The game's over at that point. Pick 6. That was it. We were this close. 24-7. And I was hoping they would talk about it, pick the flag up, and it was a touchdown. I was hoping. But anytime we see that officiating crew, and they weren't terrible today, but that's the same crew that gave us the business in Dallas, bad things are going to happen eventually to us with that crew on the field, with the ladies' man. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the center. Number 91. 15-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal, first down, Minnesota. Well, that was the football game. I want to be mad at John Ridgway. Clearly, nobody explained the rules to that young fella. That's what I'm going with. Because if he knew the rules and he did that stupid shit anyway, I'm pissed off. Because I would have at least liked to have seen Heineke get an opportunity. That's where he shines. That's when he's in his element. He effed up. He knows he has to atone for a sin. He's got 1 minute and 40 seconds to do it. No timeouts. Down a field goal. At bare minimum, I'm thinking Heineke's going to get us in at least field goal range. He might even beat these bitches in regulation. And then John Ridgway does the stupidest shit ever. And I saw it happen live, and I said, please don't throw the flag. Please don't throw the flag. Please don't throw the flag. And I saw the official reaching in. I said, please. And then the camera cut away from him, and I didn't see if he threw the flag or not. But once I saw Kevin O'Connell on the field, and he's sending Kirk Cousins back on the field, I said, oh, shit, called it. Well, that's it. Game, set, match. If they're smart, they won't even try to score a touchdown. They'll bleed this bitch down to about 15 seconds, kick a walk-off field goal. God bless and good night. And that's exactly what they did. They weren't better than us today. That's the part that is so frustrating. They weren't the better team today. We were. But good teams, which is what the Vikings are, you can say what you want about them, good teams find a way to win football games. The bad teams in this league find a way to do what we did today, which is lose. More games in this league are lost than they are won. What do I tell you that? I tell you that all the time. A wise man told me, I tell you the same thing every week. Sometimes as a team looking to win a game, you just need to excuse yourself from the affair, back up, and allow a team to self-destruct. That's all you got to do sometimes. That's what the Vikings did today. They didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything significant. I was afraid of their offense. We shut that shit down. Put a goddamn muzzle on that shit. And our damn offense wet the bed. The Vikings just backed up and allowed Taylor Heineke and his offense to do what it is they do. They giveth, they taketh away. And they took away a victory today, did the offense. Till we get a quarterback, until we get a real offensive coordinator, this is where we're going to find ourselves. And you can't remove Scott Turner without removing Ron Rivera. So, and Rivera, first of all, having to burn, I am so against burning second half timeouts for frivolous reasons. So having to burn a timeout because you can't get personnel on a third and or a 4th and 1, decision that you're about to make, you can't get everybody on the same page. That pisses me off to no end. To waste a second half timeout. Those shits are like jewels. They're like precious metal in the second half. You do whatever the hell you want to do with your first half timeouts. I don't give a shit. Personally, I don't care. First half timeouts, dime a dozen. You do what you want to do with them. Second half timeouts, you better have a good ass reason why you wasting a second half timeout. And I need to hear this shit. You get a 4th and 1, and then you go to the sideline and you come back, and that's the shit you come out with? Piss me off to no end. The second wasted timeout is a dumbass challenge. And I'm like, bro, it's 3rd and 1. What are you challenging for? Even if you win this, was it really worth a timeout to gain a yard that you can gain on the next snap? And what do? We hand it off on a jet sweep to Amani Rodgers, and he gets about 25. Why did you just burn a challenge and a timeout for a damn half a yard? That's the dumbest shit ever. Like, Ron Rivera is not a great game manager. Nobody ever confused him as one. But that is the stupidest decision he's made all season. And he's done some dumb shit this season. But in the moment, I'm saying, bro, in a close game, it's 10-7. That's the shit you're going to spend a challenge on? Really? Seriously? Where they do that at? Even if he wins, that shit is not worth it. When you throw the challenge flag, you have to think about risk versus reward. You got to weigh that shit. Is this worth a timeout if I don't win? That's what you got to. Hell no, that won't worth no goddamn timeout. And it costs us. If we have one more timeout, the Vikings can't do the shit that they just did at the end of the game. They got to actually either try to score or they're going to give us back the ball with a minute and some change left, up 3, just like they were had John Ridgeway not did the stupid shit and roughed the center. So Ron helped cost us this game. This was a collective failure on the part of the Commanders. Play calling, head coaching, offense. I'm going to leave special teams and defense out of this. They deserve better. Leave them out of this. This is about the offense. This is about the head coach. This is about the offensive coordinator. Collectively, they effed us in this game. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section. I don't want to hold y'all longer than I need to today. See what y'all got to say. Jay Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Billy Madison, you blew it. That would have been more apt last year when we had Chris Blewett at kicker. We had every opportunity. You know, it's crazy. I'll just say this. MOBB was live today. We had a lot of fun up until we blew the shit, right? But I literally, when Dax Milne caught that touchdown and we're up 10, I allowed myself for about a good 2 minutes to daydream for a second. Like, oh my God, we're about to do this. We're going to win. I didn't think we had won. Trust me. You know, I know better. And that's why I said I allowed myself for just a brief period, for about 2 minutes or so, to wander, my mind to wander. And I'm like, wow, we might beat these bastards in convincing fashion, I may add. And if Juice's pick 6 stands, this game's over. It's 24-7 and they're dead in the water. And we might go to Monday night with all the momentum, with a chance to do these boys. That bubble quickly burst. In typical Washington Commanders fashion, we're up 10. The offense never sees the football up 10. That it never ceases to amaze me how we managed to somehow bungle an opportunity to take the lead and expand upon it. I knew the defense was going to give something up. They only gave up a field goal, which was very pleasing at the time, because I felt like we were moving the football, and we were. Taylor Heineke on a first down has a wide open receiver and throws it 5 yards over his head right to the free safety. Like, we got a gift. I think they had a face mask penalty on the 3rd down that would have gotten them off the field. And so here we are with new life, and Heineke gives it right back to him. I was thinking, wow, here we are. This is what we wanted. Not quite. Not quite. We're still Washington. We're still the Commanders. This is still the shit that we do. And so those hopes were quickly dashed, and a cold, hard reality, a dose of reality was splashed into my face. Wake your dumb ass up. You over here talking about winning, getting over 500, 4-game win streak, going to Philly on Monday night. Are you crazy? Wake your ass up. I'm up. Sorry, I was talking crazy. F. Altus, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Ronald the Clown. He was definitely a clown today. And again, there was an opportunity there for the emotional gasoline of his mother passing away and Dave Butts passing away. There was all that gasoline there, and we were using it for a while there. And unfortunately, he hurt us in creating an opportunity to give him a game ball in the honor of his mother. He did that. He created an opportunity where the Vikings could win this football game. He helped create that. Boy, we tore Kirk Cousins' ass up in this game. He made some throws, though. Got to give him credit. He made some throws. But we tore his ass to shreds in this game. I'm so proud of the defense and defensive line. Jonathan Allen in particular. My goodness. We had to have hit him at least 15 times in this game. Tore his ass to shreds. Black Al B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Black Al B writes, what it do, Lou? Man, y'all's defensive front line are beasts. This game and a lot of the early games were drunk. Close on both teams' parts, but the good guys had to come out on top. Like I said, you're 7-1, but it's as shaky a 7-1 as it gets. Your offensive line stinks. I think your offense is good, but your defense, I think that's a mirage. I don't think your defense is all that great, to be honest with you. But you won the game. You found a way to win. But I feel like if we play you guys 10 times, I think we could win 7 of them. I'm not impressed with what I saw today. But I haven't been impressed with the Vikings all season long. But they found ways to win. They did it again today. And so hats off to you. But again, just like I feel the exact same way I felt when we lost to Tennessee. The better team didn't win the game. And that's unfortunate. But I find myself saying that too often, and it can't be true, right? It can't be true. You keep telling yourself the better team didn't win. Well, you didn't win. And you always find yourself saying you didn't win. You didn't get it done. So it is what it is. That's why the Titans are 6 and whatever. That's why the Vikings are 7-1, because those teams find a way to get it done. It don't have to be pretty. Just find a way to win. That's what those teams did against us. Oh, yeah. What happened to Red October? I guess it was November now, so that died. Better luck next year. That was petty. I'm sorry. I didn't need to do that. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Rob Yu, thank you for being a member of the MOBB rights. Number 4, take a sack, throw an incomplete pass, or even an intentional grounding penalty. The one thing you can't do is throw an interception. Shaking my damn head. What up, Lou? What's up, Rob Yu? But none of those things were necessary on that play. There was no pressure. It was a great pocket. He got a chance to step into the throw. He just missed. He just airmailed it. That wasn't a play where he's under duress and he's trying to make something happen. He had a clean pocket. He just airmailed it over the middle of the football field. The thing you can't do is make a bad throw over the middle of the football field because there's always defenders lurking. Edward Washington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Edward, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, TH4 INT cost us the game, but Scott's play calling put the offense to sleep while the D was playing lights out. Ridgeway cost us a chance, but the game was lost way beforehand. Collectively, as I mentioned, everybody made their fair share of mistakes, from Ridgeway on that final, field goal attempt, to Heineke throwing the pick, to, Scott Turner on a 4th and 1, to Rivera throwing the challenge flag and wasting the timeout. Everybody had their hand in this loss. Everybody did. Yeah, no one is absolved. This is a total team loss. So it sucks. It sucks when you're right there. You up 10. It's like the reverse of last week's win. We were down 9, and we somehow miraculously came back and won. This is what it feels like on the flip side of that. You're up 10. You're in control of this game, and you blow it. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, don't blame coaching. 4 killed us first. Then perhaps Scott with no runs on 4th and inches, but Ridgeway would have had 2 minutes and a timeout, not on Ron, number 11 in the second. No, it is on Ron. Ron shouldn't have burned one of our timeouts with a frivolous challenge. And you could sit here and say, well, if Ridgeway doesn't do this, that, and the third, well, guess what? He did do that. He did do that. And you didn't tell him, don't hit the center. In that particular, you're not blocking a kick. You're not blocking a kick. So I don't know what the hell Ridgeway is doing. It reminded me of last year's win over the Giants when their nose tackle jumped off sides and gave us a second chance. What are you going to do from the nose tackle position? What do you think you're going to do? You going to block the kick? What are you jumping off sides for? John Ridgeway, what are you doing? What do you think you're going to do? You going to block the kick? You got ups? You going to run over the center? You a big tough guy? You going to run over the center and leap in the air 10 yards and block the kick? What are you going to do? This is definitely on coaching. This is definitely on the players. Like I said, this is a collective loss. It ain't just Heineke. It ain't just Scott Turner. It ain't just Ron Rivera. It's everybody. It's collectively. John Ridgeway was the final nail in the coffin. But we were burying ourselves from the point where the game started to change. We were burying ourselves. We went up 10 and we lost our minds. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, a wasted dominant D-line effort. Unbelievable. Indeed. Unbelievable effort indeed. And unbelievable that we somehow managed to lose this football game. It was right there for the taking. Again, you want this cycle to end, got to find a way to win games like this. We didn't. But again, it all goes back to we need a quarterback. And they're going to have to figure something out in the offseason. This season is far from over. We don't need to have that conversation now because it's not going to change anything here in the present. But, when we get to the end of the season, we're going to have to figure out that position. That's the position that matters the most. And until you find stability there and a guy that can actually make plays and limit the mistakes, this is the position we're going to find ourselves in. Heineke is the perfect quintessential NFL backup. I established that last year. I think that's part of the reason why Scott Turner, Ron Rivera, and company went after a quarterback so aggressively this year, because they saw that last year. They knew what he was, right? He got his opportunity last year. We saw what he did with it. A lot of you, he needs a full season. He's got weapons now, this, that, and the third. He is what he is. 15 batted balls today, right? Big time interception with nobody in your face. I mean, literally, he threw up a YOLO ball, guys. He threw a YOLO ball into triple coverage. And again, if not for a stagger screen set by an official, that's a pick. That's not a touchdown. It sucks wasting that kind of effort. But it's good to know that it exists. Somebody's going to look, for the remainder of the season, if we keep getting that kind of effort from our D-line, we're going to get Chase Young back next week. If we continue to get that kind of, somebody's going to pay. Somebody's going to come up off one of these dubs, one of these improbable dubs. It might be the Eagles next week. Because like I said, last time when we played them, Hurts couldn't run any goddamn where. And our D-line wasn't playing like this the last time we played them. This is a different group this time around. And after watching what the Texans did, I'm like, shit, we could do that. We could definitely do that. I like our chances on Monday night. I damn sure do. Wilfredo Elias, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, so upset. I expected a loss going in, but as the game progressed and we got to the fourth, I really thought we had it. Scott has to go. I know it's unrealistic, but what would firing him now look like? It's no need to even talk about that, Wilfredo. It's not happening. So it's no need to even go down that rabbit hole. For what? It's pointless. You're wasting time. It's a exercise in futility because he signed an extension in the offseason. He's not going in. As long as Ron Rivera is here, so will Scott Turner. They're going to always find somebody else to blame. There's always going to be some kind of scapegoat. It's never going to be on the coaching staff. So I don't see Scott Turner going anywhere. And I've yet, like last year, the reason why I was more patient with Scott Turner than a lot of you is because he admitted a lot of stuff last year. I got to be better here. He's not admitting nothing. Like he even threw the running backs under the bus. I don't know if you caught it this week when he spoke, but he's like, yeah, the running backs have to be better. And he's not necessarily wrong, but I'm like, bro, you should be the last one pointing at anybody talking about anybody needs to be better. Your ass needs to be better. And these reporters aren't asking the questions. They're not drilling his ass. I need them to get in Scott's ass. Like, bro, you haven't been good on weeks that have been normal. Your best 2 weeks as a coordinator this year, weeks 1 and 7. 2 weeks where you had extra time to prepare for the opponent. Can you explain that to me? Because it's not making much sense to me. Let's see. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, in 30 years, grandkids asking about the legend of TH. It all started with a pylon dive and ended with the Dallas implanted agent. Rest in peace, the legend of Heineke. He's not terrible. Like, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going for any of the Heineke slander. He is what we thought he is. Just like I'm not going for any of the Dax Mills slander. A lot of that tries to take place in the MOBB. Not going for it. Like, Dax Mills didn't ask and sign up to be the punt returner. He did it in college, so they just figured they could save a roster spot, and they put him back there. He hasn't dropped anything. He hasn't done anything, ridiculous back there. I got no problems with Dax Mills. I actually thought he was solid today. All right. I'm not going for the John Ridgeway slander. He made a mistake. They happen. It sucks. Wish it didn't happen, but it did. I put that on the special teams coach. You got to make sure that these guys know the rule. You can't blow up the center. You want to do that to the guard, knock yourself out. Leave the center alone. Put that on the special teams coordinator. He's got to make sure his guys know you can't touch the center. But I like John Ridgeway. I won't go for any John Ridgeway slander today. And the Heineke slander doesn't need to exist. He is what we thought he was. Like, understand who he is. Some of y'all don't want to acknowledge that, but he is who we thought he was. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, the Wizards and Terps get blown out. The Caps and Go-Go both choke epically. This was just a cherry to cap off my weekend. Nothing anyone says will make me feel better right now. Well, look, if you like all of the teams in this area, you're going to suffer. Because outside of the Caps, who have been consistently good, but they've never really won anything. They've won a Stanley Cup. Good for them. They should have won 3 or 4 with Ovechkin's career to this point. Outside of the Caps, none of the teams in this area are any good. None of them. None of them make the playoffs routinely, again, except for the Caps. So if you're banking on Washington to be the reason you feel good, this organization in particular, I feel for you. I truly do. Swaggy P. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Swaggy P writes, this is the roller coaster we get with TH. Wish the Benjamin St. Juice pick 6 stood. Also, I slipped the refs $5 today on the Samuels TD on the Philly. Hashtag HTTC. This is exactly the roller coaster you get with TH. And I've explained that to anyone that would listen. That's the same roller coaster we got the first week that we played against Green Bay. Threw a pick 6, almost fumbled. The officials bailed us out there, right? Played better in the second half. We got the win. Threw a pass with his eyes closed, right? The next week, throws a pick in the second half that's back-breaking that leads to a 9-point deficit. Think the game's over. Puts together 2 big-time drives, including 2 fourth-down conversions. That's the roller coaster. The throw to Terry down the field to the 1-yard line. That's the roller coaster ride every single week. This is why he's a backup, because it's rare that you don't get the roller coaster ride with Taylor Heineke. It's rare that he goes out and he's 24 of 30 for 275, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and plays a clean game. There's going to be a mistake in there somewhere. Can you overcome it? Same shit today. Playing solid ball, not great by any stretch of the imagination, but in a position to upset the Vikings. And it was just too much. The moment was too big for him. On to Philly we go. You should have slipped the official a 10 spot and said, hey, leave that Benjamin St. Juice pick 6 alone. And then we would have won. 5 wasn't enough. You were being too damn cheap, Swaggy P. Rob you, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, sick of Ron and Scott. JDR has really stepped up. It's amazing how when players play well, the coordinator gets credit. JDR hasn't done anything significant. JDR hasn't mixed it up and gotten super aggressive. There were times where he blitzed today, and I thought it was warranted, and I'm glad he did, like i.e. right before halftime, went after Kirk. I thought he was too aggressive on back-to-back plays when he got beat on the Jefferson deep ball before halftime. Like, you got away with it the first play, you did it again, and then he gets beat, right? You leave Juice on an island one-on-one with Jefferson on a big third down. After Juice has already ran back a touchdown, you blitzed him. He's gassed, and there's no safety help over the top. I don't know if that's a really smart idea there. No safety help over the top for a guy that's been going 110 miles an hour the last 3 or 4 snaps. You don't think he's gassed? Don't think he needs any help? Okay. I mean, it is what it is. It's amazing how the narrative is switched on Del Rio. He hasn't done much different. Guys are just playing better. Q is fresh. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, ain't nobody going to say it, so I am. JDR is outstanding. Again, the same people that are talking about JDR and he's outstanding, he's this, these are the same people that wanted him fired, early in the season. There were a lot of you who were projecting that he was going to be fired 6-7 weeks into the season. It's amazing the 180 that some of you have done. I always thought he was doing a solid job. My biggest problem with him is that he didn't blitz enough. I thought he did a good enough job because I'm not going to ask him to do something blitzing wise. This was my biggest pet peeve with him was blitz a little bit more. And he's done that. I'm not going to ask him to blitz a ton. We don't have the secondary to do that. I can't be putting corners in compromising positions one-on-one, 30, 40 yards down the field. We're not built like that. So I'm not going to ask him to do that. But he picks and chooses his spots. I thought he's done that well this season. And I like collectively what they're asking the defense to do. You hate, watching. I had a nightmare watching John Bostic on a critical third down as he's in his little crouch position. And TJ Hawkinson runs a simple out and John Bostic doesn't move. And it brought back all of these bad memories of John Bostic doing absolutely nothing defensively but guarding grass. And he wasn't terrible today, was John Bostic. But he can't get off the field fast enough. I was wrong about TJ Hawkinson not being a big factor in this game. I was like, he just got there. He kicked our ass today. What did he have? I'm gonna say 5 catches for 70-something yards. 9 catches for 70 yards. He kicked our ass royally today, did TJ Hawkinson. And at least 3 of those 9, if not 4 of them, came on third downs to move the sticks. He was huge for them. That was a backbreaker. Edward Washington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Edward Washington, who writes, every time I start putting hope in this team, they crush me. I'm going back to not expecting anything. Well, that's why I'm not as pissed off. Like when I was crushed when we lost to the Titans because I was emotionally invested in terms of attaching expectations to hope. I just hoped we beat the Vikings. I wasn't expecting anything. I'm not doing that anymore this season because this team, they haven't shown me the ability for me to expect anything out of them. Just hope they go out and play well and give us a chance. And they did that. So I'm only upset because we were up 10 with a chance to get over 500 and really go into that Philadelphia game with momentum. But I like the way we're playing. You know, I don't like the fact that we think 17 points is good enough to win every single week. But I like the way we're playing defensively. That's going to give us a chance almost every single week. All right. Amar, 2 times official. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, to be honest, I'm not overly disappointed. Ain't over. Again, like I said, this season's far from over. We got a lot of winnable football games left on the schedule, man. You know, I'm looking at Philadelphia and I'm saying, I want to be the team. I asked them to be undefeated when we played them. I want to be the team to bust up that undefeated streak this season. We're going to give it a go. If we don't, we're 4-6. And you look after that, you got the Texans, you got the Falcons, you got the Giants, you got winnable football games, right? Like this season is far from over, but you got to win football games, right? You got to win some football games. So you're back to the drawing board. You know, you lament the opportunities that are lost and you get back to it. You get an extra day to prepare for the Eagles. You know, you're going to get at least Chase Young back this week. I'm thinking you're going to get Jahan Dotson potentially. Even though I'm not sold on him, I think you're closer to getting Cole Holcomb back than you are Jahan Dotson. But we'll see what happens with that situation. But you're going to get some guys back, right? You're going to get some reinforcements back this week against the Eagles. And let's see what it looks like. You know, it'll be Chase Young on a pitch count. Can't imagine them turning him loose and him playing 50, 60 snaps. It'll be, 20 to 35 snaps somewhere in that window. And we'll see what he looks like. And we'll see what we're able to get back from Cole Holcomb, and Jahan Dotson's standpoint. It was good to get De'Ami Brown back. He had a drop today in the game. But, you just want all of these guys back. And you're getting to slowly get them back. And then we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty sure when Carson Wentz is healthy in week number 11 for the Texans game, I'm pretty sure they're going to insert him back into the lineup. And we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. Far from over. Wilfredo Elias, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, I'm not excusing Heineke either. Tired of him sailing these easy throws, but Scott take 1 step forward and then 5 steps back. Ready for a new regime. My biggest problem with Scott Turner is situational awareness. It's always been, it's going to continue to be, because look, we can sit here and cry over play calls, throughout the game. And I wouldn't have done this. Stop calling screens. Like, that's a problem for me. We keep banging our head out. Like, we'll get 6 yards on first down. We'll run a screen and we'll give back the 6 yards. We'll get 2 yards on first down and then we'll run a screen and we'll lose 6 yards. Now it's 3rd and 14, right? Like, I'm sick of that shit. I'm sick of us running screens. They don't work. Stop running the fake screen one way, throw it back. Like, how many times do you have to lose 4, 5, 6 yards on one particular play before you scrap that shit and say, okay, I'm not running that no more? Like, are you retarded or something? And I don't like name calling, but are you slow? What do you think? This week it's just going to magically work? It's the same offensive lineman that can't get out there and get to guys. Why do you think this shit is going to work? They've seen the same play on film. We can't get you to run a tight end screen. We got to beg you to run it. We got to give you an Indian, African burn on your arm. Like literally twisting your arm to get you to throw a tight end screen. But every week you're trying that same stupid ass fake screen one way, throw it back the other way, and we lose 6 yards every time. And every week you call the shit. Like this week is going to be different. You lost 5 yards the week before, 6 yards the week before, 6 yards the week before that, 6 yards. Why do you keep running it? Lost 6 yards again today? Like, that's the shit that bothers me with him. More so than any of the shit that y'all are complaining about. It's that stupid shit, and then 4th and 1 wanting to run a bootleg. He's got to be the smartest guy in the room at all times. We get down into the red zone and we want to try a double pass. We want to try a double reverse pass. Give it to Curtis. Give it to Gibby. Tosses it back to Heineke to throw it to John effing Bates. Great job. Great draw up. John Bates? Get his ass out of here, man. Rob you. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. And then we do throw a tight end screen today and we throw it to John Bates. You got a Monty freaking Rogers who runs a 4.5. And you're going to throw a tight end screen to John Bates. They'll never be expecting John Bates. Even if they get caught with their pants down, it's John Bates. The man runs like he's running on a treadmill backwards. Where's it going to go? 5 yards? That's what he gained on the screen that was perfectly blocked today. 5 yards. Give me a break. Rob you. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Wrights. Love the confidence and length of juice as he really played well. If he had just a resemblance of ball skills, though, he would be an impact player. Well, that was the knock on him. That was my knock on him coming out of Minnesota, was that he just doesn't have any ball skills. But he'll play the ball. He'll play the shit out of the football. And he'll tangle up with your ass, and he'll be physical. And he was physical with Justin Jefferson's ass. Really physical. After that first possession, he put the clamps on Justin's ass, got physical with him, and Justin Jefferson didn't like the shit. And I loved it. And that's why the pick six getting called back hurts. Because all he was doing was being physical with him. And that didn't need to be called. It's two dudes at the top of a route hand fighting. Don't call that right there. You've been letting them play all game long. All I ever asked for. And this is why I hate this officiating crew. When we get the ladies man in doing our games, when we get the ladies man to do our games, this is what's going to happen. Because it always happens. They always call the penalties on us. Never them. And so I knew at some point they're going to get us. They're going to get us. And they got us. They got us. I love me some juice, though. He was good today. Very delicious beverage today. Timothy Teeler, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Right. Can Curtis or AG start returning kicks, please? Well, AG does return kickoffs. If you're talking about punts, it's not going to happen. Leave Dax Miller alone. The real question is, can we get some more creativity in the run game? Curtis Samuel had a 16-yard run. Did he touch it in the run game again the rest of the game? Like, this is the shit I'm talking about with Scott Turner. Well, I don't understand. Curtis has a 16-yard run right up the middle. I don't think he touched it in a running capacity the rest of the game. Why? Where's the psychological sense in that? But you're going to keep feeding me Brian Robinson, who's averaging 3 yards, per carry. You're going to keep force feeding me that, though. Okay. Gotcha. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. JP writes, top priority this offseason, QB, and QB. And again, we don't even know if that's going to be their top priority or not, because we don't know how they feel about Sam Howell. And so that's the frustrating part. I just hope that they don't allow Sam Howell's presence to stop them from being aggressive. If an opportunity, comes up for them to be able to get a quarterback, whether it's via the draft or it's, in some other, and I don't know if there's anything around the league that is even appetizing for you to go trade for. Like, I don't see anybody where I'm like, hey, if he becomes available, you should go after him. I don't see that. So at this point, if it's not a young fella, then I don't really know if there's anything out there worth going after. They got to figure something out, though. And what you don't want them doing is forcing it. They got to love this dude and then go get him. But, they got to go get a young guy. Like, they've got to give us a reason to feel like, okay, here's an opportunity at the future right here. We got to have something. These stopgap options, Ryan Fitzpatrick and Carson, they're not it. I was willing to roll the dice with Carson because we weren't in a position to get one of the quarterbacks. This last quarterback draft was trash. This is not a trash quarterback, group of guys coming out. So now there's no excuse. There's no safety net. The safety net last year was, this ain't a quarterback draft, so do something. Figure it out. Carson Wentz was the option they went with. Cool. You don't have that safety net. This is a good quarterback draft class. Find one. Find one. Make it happen. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Ron's checked out, knows he's gone with new owner. He doesn't know anything. He's been through this before. The last time he got a new owner, he wasn't fired immediately. And if Cam doesn't get hurt that year, I don't think he gets fired. But he's just trying to coach one game at a time. He wasn't good today. I'll just leave it at that. He wasn't good today. Andrew Kim, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, you think we will still get a 4-game heater later in the season since we didn't get a 4-game streak? The best we might get is a 3 this year. That was the opportunity. 4 was right there. We were up 10. I don't know what else you want, Andrew. That was it. There was the 4-game heater right there. But to your point, there's plenty of time. And there are opportunities. I just told you there's a stretch there where you get Houston, Atlanta, the Giants, a bye week, the Giants again. That could be 4. Cleveland, San Francisco, not necessarily in that order. I think it's San Francisco, then Cleveland, and then Dallas to finish up. There are opportunities. I'll just say that. There'll be some opportunities in there, but you're going to have to win some games. We don't play well against the Giants, and they're playing with confidence. I don't think you beat them 2 times in a row. So I don't know if there's a stretch this season where you're capable of winning 4 in a row. This was our opportunity, but we'll see. Plenty of football left. Unfortunately, we didn't get it done today, but next week's an opportunity to start a new streak. You could start a new streak, or you can continue this one into a streak and make it 2 losses in a row. What you gonna do? We'll see. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Trevor Patch writes, Brian Robinson is trash. Aren't second and third stringers. I don't think he's trash. I just think he's average. Like, we knew what we were getting when we got him. Like, he's not a speed guy. He's not a speed guy. What I've been disappointed in with him is the decisiveness we saw before he got shot. We haven't seen it since. Downhill, immediately, finish through guys, yard or 2 after contact. We haven't seen that enough. Today, I thought he was as indecisive as I've seen him as a runner since he's gotten here. Running into the backs of our offensive linemen, trying to bounce shit that's not there. He's not fast. So where are you bouncing it to? Where are you going? Who are you going to outrun? He never outruns anybody. And seems like every shoestring tackle gets him down on the ground. That's supposed to be his strength. Is he's supposed to find a way to stay up through contact. Contact balance is one of my biggest things. And he doesn't seem to be having it right now. So, look, in a draft that was full of guys that had some real potential, we've seen it. We've seen Breece Hall before his injury. We saw Kenneth Walker and what he's doing with the Seattle Seahawks. Like, we saw the guys that were better than him in the draft, and they're doing what we thought they could do. He's a solid back. But my problem is, I don't want Antonio Gibson not getting touches if that's what he's going to do. If that's what he's going to give us, I'd rather just give some of those touches to Antonio Gibson and see what happens with him. That's my biggest gripe. Is if we're going to give you 13, 15, 17 touches, I need you to do more than what you did with him today. Because Gibson's one, carry away from popping a 25, 30-yarder. Robinson's not going to do that. John Hinkle, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "What up, Lou? What's up, John?" Says, "This one hurts more than the Titans game." I disagree. He says, "We just don't know how to play clean football. That Heineke pick was a killer to momentum." I agree with that. I think the Titans game hurts more because that was an opportunity to start the win streak, and we would have already been over 500. And who knows what happens if you're playing with that much more confidence of a 4-game win streak. You're over 500. It's a totally different narrative, right? This one, you're back to 500. You're trying to get over 500. You're right there, but I think it would have hurt more if we would have gotten the football back, had a chance, and didn't get it done. The John Ridgeway personal foul penalty, that killed any hope of us getting the ball back, and it was anticlimactic from that point forward. The Titans game, you're at the 2-yard line. I mean, you're at the 2-yard line, first and goal from the 2, with 20 whatever seconds left. You're supposed to win that game. Like, there was no drama here. That penalty killed any opportunity of Heineke getting the football and having a chance to redeem himself, which I think he would have done. So this one hurts. It does, but it doesn't hurt more than the Titans game to me. Edward Washington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Edward writes, "Heineke and Ron were both making faces after the flea flicker. Scott is a clown." They were making faces. I mean, they were just taking a shot. I think Ron was up, laughing like, damn, maybe we had a shot, but okay, cool, whatever. Dude, you're that close to the end zone. That's a play around midfield that you run. And again, we're throwing that to John Bates. Of all dudes, John Bates, give me a break. Kevin the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, early supers in your IG. All right. Let's go check that out right now. See what you guys have to say. Let's see where we left off at. I don't see anything yet. Yeah, I don't see anything. Make sure you send it to the right IG, please, if you're going to send it. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. King of the North, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "How about that quarterback keeper call on 3rd and 7, LOL? Our offense isn't good enough to sacrifice a down for a B-Rob run. By the way, fire Scott." At first, I was like, well, maybe it wasn't supposed to be a quarterback keep on 3rd and 7, like a quarterback draw. Maybe it was supposed to be a pass. The Vikings were all over it, and he just tucked it and ran. That's what I was telling myself, because I said, I know this mother effer did not just run a QB draw on 3rd and 7 with Taylor Heineke, because they spread them out and they think the Vikings are going to allow us to get the first down. Like, bro, you're not that smart. You're not that smart. Like, you're not that smart. I know he did not just call a 3rd and 7 QB draw. I'm going to stick with what I told myself, because this made me feel better. They were going to try a little quick screen. The Vikings took it away, and Heineke saw that, didn't want to throw a pick, put ball in the harm's way, tuck it and ran. That's what I'm telling myself, because I know this dumb mother effer did not just try a 3rd and 7 quarterback draw. I know he didn't just do that. So that's what I'm sticking with. He says, our offense isn't good enough to sacrifice a down for a B-Rob run. That's kind of my feel right now. It's like, bro, if that's what we're going to do, if on 1st and 10, he's going to run up into a back of a lineman and then, spin out of that and get a yard or two. I'd rather you just give it to Antonio Gibson and just see what Gibby can do. And not like he was much better today, to be honest with you, but there's the hope that, hey, man, every single touch Gibby gets, this could be the one. He could pop it, right? I never feel that way with Brian Robinson. There's no upside to him touching it unless it's a short yardage situation. Like, I'm ready to be like, hey, I need Gibby to be the lead dog, and then I need Brian Robinson to just be your short yardage back. I'm ready to go back to that down that road again because I've been uninspired by the way he's running the football right now. Let's see. Marcus Brady. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Marcus Brady writes, in the Philly area as a Washington fan, this hurts. I love Taylor, but he's a QB too. I'm tired of losing. You said it best. We pissed down our leg and Scott plays, and Ron screwed us with the timeout. He says, but wasn't ready. Had it, but we wasn't ready. I got you. Okay. That one got a little crazy at the end. Says, had it, but wasn't ready. We weren't ready for the moment. It was too big. The up 10 with 10 left, and you're looking at the possibilities of, wow, 4 in a row, over 500, massive Monday night game. Oh, my gosh. Too much for us. Too much too soon. We couldn't handle that. David, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. David writes, someone should slap Scott on the back of the head after that 3rd and 1. Maybe it's just me. I felt like this wasn't so bad. Still, 4 and 5. Come on, Wash. It wasn't the 3rd and 1. He did a great play call when he gave it to Armani Rogers on 3rd and 1. It was the 4th and 1 where you go, bro, what the man? What are you doing? Like, back in the day, we used to go and, smack people over the head or smack the back of your neck, got your neck. I just wanted one time when Scott does one of these stupid ass play calls, I just want to go and, what was you thinking right there? Just back of the head. I don't want to hit him hard because that causes a fight. I just want to pop, right? Like my wife and kids, you know how I used to smack Junior over the head when Junior would do, I just one of those, boop, over the back of the head. Like, bro, what the hell was that? You thought that was a good idea? Pop, back of the head. Like, seriously, Scott. That's what you got on. You guys burn a timeout and you come out and that's the shit you come out with. The whole time I'm in the MOBB quarterback sneak. This better be a quarterback sneak. Too much like right. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Rob Yu writes, Lou, I had to catch myself. I briefly thought we were going to win, head into Philly with crazy momentum and possibly hand them their first loss. We can still hand them their first loss. That doesn't have to change. But yes, I too had a moment. When Dax Milne scored and it went to commercial break and we're up 10, I sat down and I said, we might actually do this. We might actually do this. And then I said, all right, and I typed this in the MOBB. I said, all right, D, you know what to do? And they said, we do. Give up some points. And I should have known. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I shouldn't have typed anything in. I should have just let it ride and just saw what they did. But I knew they were going to give up something. But they gave up a field goal, and we had them on the ropes. They were reeling, Damn it, man. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, O-line is still trash and pass pro. Run blocking helps running backs. I told you guys, I think this was 2 weeks ago. I said, for you guys out there saying that Cornelius Lucas needs to be starting over Sam Cosmi at right tackle and Cosmi needs to go to guard, you guys need to wake the hell up. I said, we're very fortunate to have Cornelius Lucas as a backup tackle. Similar to the way I feel about Taylor Heinicke, the perfect quintessential backup. Like you don't get much better as a backup swing tackle in this league than Cornelius Lucas. I don't want him starting. Sam Cosmi can't get healthy fast enough to get back at right tackle and give us a chance to run the football more effectively over there and not get beat some, because he got his ass whooped a couple of times today, So, and every week he's getting beat 2 or 3 times is Cornelius Lucas every week. So, I like my Luke in smaller doses. So, that's another guy that we may get back next week. Cosmi's been healthy enough to play if need be. They haven't needed to break that glass in case of an emergency. We haven't had one. Next week, he may actually be ready to go back out to right tackle. The cast is officially off, I think, next week. And I think he may be able to go out there and play. So, like I said, next week is going to be a big week because I think we get a lot of stuff back potentially next week. And you're not wrong. Better O-line play helps everyone out. Quarterback, running backs, receivers, everybody benefits from better play up front. That's like, you want to make it as simple as, hey, we need a quarterback. And that helps a lot. But we need better offensive line play next year. We need another corner next year. Like, there are things that are higher on the list than anything else that we need. Offensive line, quarterback, and corner are the biggest needs this team has going into the offseason. You can put them in whatever order you want. That is up to you. Those 3 things we need a lot of. So let's see. FL2s, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Ronald the Clown deserves this loss for canning KOC for that bum Scott Turner. Again, hindsight is 20/20. And so you got what you got. It is what it is. We moved on from that back in 2020. Did Kevin O'Connell get a little bit of revenge? Maybe he did. At the end of the day, we hit Kirk Cousins 15 times a day, sacked him 3 times, and should have won this football game. I don't feel like I didn't walk away, man, Kevin O'Connell is a genius. That offense I watched today, they were trash. Were the Minnesota Vikings. Absolutely garbage can juice after the first drive. I wasn't impressed. I'm not saying he's not better than Scott Turner because that's a pretty damn low bar. Scott Turner, it's a pretty damn low bar. But at the end of the day, we didn't get it done. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. William Lee writes, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, we were too conservative with the lead. I mean, how can you even say that? We got up 10. The next time we got the football, we were up 7. The next time we got the football, we turned it over, right? Then it's tied. And then we gave it. And then I don't know what happened on first and second down, but I know Heinicke got sacked on third down. I think we got I think I do remember. I think we got a 4-yard gain on first down with a run to Brian Robinson. And then Heinicke throws a screen to Brian Robinson. I'm like, of all the things you can do on 2nd and 6, you throw an effing screen and he loses 3 yards. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? We're the worst screen team in football. And so that brings up a 3rd and 9. And then Heinicke gets spooked because Cornelius Lucas gets beat again. He gets scared and shrivels up. Instead of him running, he shrivels into the fetal position and takes a sack. So there was that. And then they ended up getting the football and taking the drive down the field to take the lead. So I don't agree with conservative necessarily. We just didn't execute. Timothy Teeler, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Timothy Teeler writes, I wouldn't be surprised if Scott finished the year out. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Timothy. You said finish the year out like he's getting fired or something. He's not getting fired. He'll be around. He's not going anywhere. He will definitely be here. Let's see. We got a super chat here from Miko the Don. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, BSJ celebrating on that last fade ball made me mad. He had every right to celebrate. That's a big effing play. They needed a touchdown there. He stopped them and forced a field goal, and we were going to have a chance to either tie the game or win it. Why couldn't he? Why not celebrate right there? Why you act like we were down 2 touchdowns and he was celebrating? The game was tied. On a third down where they were trying to go for the jugular vein, he stopped them from catching the football. You damn right he should have been celebrating. I don't agree with that. Let's see. Lorenzo Simpson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Zoe writes, today is my son's 14th birthday. Drove from New York to watch Ron and Scott piss away. Thanks, offense, for making this a long ride home. Hey, Zoe, tell your son I said happy born day, man. Sucks he didn't get a dub on his born day to really be a memorable day. My 14th birthday, I remember when my dad took me to a Washington Commanders game. It was blackout. First of all, we got to be the dumbest fans in the league. Did anybody wear black? I didn't see one mother effing fan in black. Did they not get the memo? Was there not a memo sent out to these fans? Hey, we're wearing black. We're painting the end zones black. It's a blackout. Wear black. Did no one mention this? There was no press release. No one mentioned this to the fans coming to the game. Hey, wear black. A lot of Vikings fans too, just so you know. But that was to be expected. I expected the fans that showed up to actually participate. Like, if you don't have black and you don't want to wear black, fine, I get it. But I didn't see an attempt. Like, damn, how limited do you have to be? There was a theme. Anyway, sorry your son didn't get to experience the dub. Zoe, maybe next time. Maybe on his 15th birthday, you can try this again. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a different ownership then. John Hinkle, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, John, who writes, BSJ had 18 strapped. 94 and 93 were hunting. 90 was making plays. Curl tightened the run game, and even on that touchdown, Heineke was a statue in the pocket. I thought he was scared today. He didn't look like the same Heineke running around. He didn't seem comfortable with some of the escape, routes that he normally finds a way to and escapes. They hit him early in this game, and I thought it affected him. And that's the thing. If you're playing against Heineke, hit his ass early and hit him often, and that'll do the rest for you. And you saw that in this game. I thought they hit him early in the game, stifled him a bit, and it took away a lot of his effectiveness as a runner. We didn't see the patent it up the A-gap escape. We didn't see the Heineke extending the play, coming out of the other side of a scrum. He was looking for somewhere to fall down in this game a lot of times. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, this game equals Green Bay game last year. Nah. Green Bay game last year, we moved it up and down the field and self-destructed in the red zone. That's not what happened in this game. If you're talking about from that standpoint, I don't know where else you would be going. We scored 10 points in the Green Bay game last year. And the defense, while it was a really good performance by the defense, Taylor had 2 turnovers in that game. Well, I think Taylor had like 3 turnovers in that game. He threw a pick in the end zone. He had the fumble right after halftime that led to a Packers touchdown. He had the failed quarterback sneak on 4th down after they called back his touchdown for giving himself up. Gibson had a fumble in the red zone. Like that, this was a totally different game than the Green Bay game last year. Totally different game. Marcus Bradley, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Marcus Bradley, who writes, TH4 interception was major. He can't see. Oh, and one more thing. Love how Captain Kirk played. We smacked him up, but he looked like QB1 all the way. Hashtag should have paid him. I got to give Kirk credit. We beat his ass up today, man. I mean, I'm anxious to see how many times we hit him. I know at one point we had hit him 14 times. As my guy Black Al B used to call him, Kirk Nephews. He's Cousins now. He's no longer Kirk Nephews. We beat him up pretty good today, man. He earned it. He earned it today. He gonna feel it tomorrow. But we hit Kirk. This says 11 times. That's not what it said on the TV earlier. It was 14 at one point. Sacked him twice. I thought they would have counted that last quarterback, when he held on to it as a sack. But they didn't count that as a sack. I feel like we hit him more than 11 times. But that's what this says, 11 quarterback hits. But we were on his ass. Allen hit him 4 times by himself. Sweat hit him 3 times. Payne hit him twice. Juice sacked him. We were all on it. We were on his ass. I loved it. That was fun to watch. It was honestly, that was a fun game up until when we blew it. I enjoyed that game though. Even if we don't have a John Ridgeway penalty at the end, I really thought that this game would have either gone to overtime or we would have won. Like I really felt like Heineke was going to avenge that interception, but he never got the opportunity. That's the part that sucks, is he never got the chance. But that was a fun game. I'm sick and tired of scoring 17 points and having to try to make that be enough. But all in all, I enjoyed this game. The way the defense was playing, I enjoyed that. Kirk made some throws. I got to give him credit. Eddie Behringer, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Eddie B, writes, Lou, I'm here. When they scored and we still up 7, there was no energy in this stadium. You know why? Because a lot of those fans were thinking, here we go again. And when you're scarred and you're used to finding ways to lose instead of finding ways to win, that's the way that you're processing things is, instead of, hey, we held them to a field goal. I was hyped when we held them to the field goal. It sucked that they got the field goal because, remember, there were 2 different third downs on that possession. That felt like the Green Bay game from the standpoint of we were up 9, got the game in hand. If we get 1 stop, this shit is over. And we get 2 penalties, and then the third penalty puts the ball down inside the red zone, and then Aaron Rodgers finds Aaron Jones, and all of a sudden we got a football game on our hands, and a game is broken out. And that's how this felt. You're up 10, chance to stifle them. It's 3rd and 9. Kirk throws it to Justin Jefferson, tight coverage, picked off, goes the other way for a touchdown. Game is over. They throw a flag. Okay, they threw a flag. It's just like a 12-yard penalty. It's not a 25 or a 30-yard. You still can get a stop. And then you blitz him on the very next snap. You sack him, and I'm like, Juice, get the ball out. Get the ball out. He didn't know you were coming. Get the ball out. He doesn't get the ball out. But that's fine. Still an 8-yard sack. 2nd and 18. And then you give up a short pass underneath. Danny Johnson can't tackle Justin Jefferson until he gets a gain of 11, and now it's 3rd and 7. And you're like, shit, it's 3rd and 7. All right, we still got a chance to get off the field. And what do? You give up a deep ball to Justin Jefferson. Juice gets cooked. He's tired. No safety help over the top. Slot fade, and there's nobody around. Where's the psychological sense in that? I don't know. But you only give up a field goal. So there should have still been life in the stadium, but the fans were all thinking, we're going to find a way to blow this. Just as quickly as we took this lead and expanded it to 10, we're going to blow it. And that's exactly what we did. Michael White, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou, be mindful on your walk back to Ashburn of the rolling bodies out of Ron's whip. Hey, look, man. Y'all got to make up y'all mind what y'all going to do. Either you in the whip and you in the whip, or you out of the whip. Don't yo-yo back and forth when he pisses you off, okay? This is par for the course, right? They're going to be ups, they're going to be downs, they're going to be things you don't agree with Ron. They're going to be things where you're like, Ron was outstanding today. Ron was terrible today. It happens, all right? And so you take the good with the bad and you just keep it pushing, all right? It is what it is. RJ Mac Ready. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. RJ Mac Ready writes, Lou, we need to draft one of these top 3 QBs coming out of the draft. That's it, period. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis. You can't win without a franchise quarterback. First of all, Will Levis is trash. I don't want him anywhere near my team. Period. End of discussion. Let the Panthers or somebody else figure that out. There are other quarterbacks that are coming out. I hope they all come out. There are other quarterbacks that are in the draft that I think have a chance to be really good. And we'll see. I'm not going to do the whole draft thing right now because I want to see who declares, who decides to go back to school. And then we'll go from there. And then we'll start to look at the damage, look who's coming out, and then we can start to see, all right, these two are gone. We're not going to be able to get to them. Like CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, we're not going to be able to get to them because more likely than not, the Texans, the Panthers, and whomever else sucks, they're all up there. They're all going to be up there, and they all need quarterbacks. Davis Mills is not the answer in Houston. They're figuring that out as we speak. They're going to replace him as they should. And the Panthers are going to do that if they're up there. Whomever else is up there, I think there's one more team that I'm not thinking of that also sucks that needs a quarterback. And so when it's all said and done, we won't be in a position to get CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. And those teams that get that first or second pick overall, they're not trading out of those picks. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, who else can I find myself getting my hands on at the quarterback position? Who else can I really do my homework on and see if I really like this kid and he fits what we want to do? That's what they've got to figure out. But again, we're not there yet because we don't know who's coming out, who's going back to school. I've got a crush on 2 or 3 dudes, but I don't know if they're coming out or not. They're underclassmen. They're not seniors. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't want Will Levis. I do know that. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Red Wings 01 who writes, the sad thing is that roughness stuff on Ridgeway's scouting report. I love the man, but this is what he was known for. And we knew that. If this is a part of his DNA, then they've got to tell him, bro, look, you can't do that on the center. Can't happen. All right. So, again, I don't know anything about that in his past, but on special teams, there are certain things you just can't do. If it's 4th and 3, you can't go after the punter heavy. Not on 4th and 3, because running into the kicker is a first down. So there's just certain things you just got to know. You just got to know the rules, and you got to know down and distance. I talk about this all the time, situational awareness. 4th and 3, 4th and 4, you should be nowhere near the punter. Nowhere near. 4th and 7, hey, rush to your heart's content. Go try to block it. You run into the kicker, guess what? It's still 4th down. They're probably going to decline the penalty depending on how the kick went, and you go from there, right? But in that situation, John Ridgeway, you're not blocking a damn thing. You don't need to be blowing up the center. Don't touch the center, period. These guys that are behind the line, they come up and they tap the defensive tackles on the ass, sliding one way or the other, telling them to slide over for a reason, so that you clear the center. You can't touch the center. And then he makes a beeline for the center and runs him over. Where's the psychological sense in that, young fella? Jay Hunter Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, did we trade McKissick too? No, he just was injured, had a neck injury, didn't practice all week, didn't play. So no McKissick out on the football field today. Abdella, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdella, who writes, Louie, my voice is shot. I can't believe we did this again. It's a reoccurring trend with Scott going away from the run only to do cutbacks and trying to pass like you don't have the lead. Again, I've said this. Scott's feel for the game is limited. It's nothing like his father. He lacks the ability to have a feel for the game and how things are going. I just struggle with the simple stuff with him. You know, that's the thing. Like, look, you're gonna have some play calls that you like against specific looks from the defense that you're playing against, but there are consistent things that he does that it frustrates me to no end on a weekly basis, and I can't figure him out for the life of me. You know, Curtis Samuel has had it going during the win streak. Curtis Samuel's involvement in the run game was outstanding. And then today he has a 16-yard run early in the game, and he doesn't touch it again in the run game at all in any capacity. No creativity, nothing. We just went back to just standard Gibby left, Robinson right, Robinson up the middle. We're not good enough as a rush offense to not have creativity. So he frustrates me to no end. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Red Wings 01 writes, these mistakes are why we don't deserve to make the playoffs. I don't care how good the defense is. The offense is anemic and the management is horrible. Somebody's got to go. That last team that makes it in, they're not going to be a great football team. Somebody's got to get in. If not us, it'll be the 49ers. They're not great either. They'll be better coached than us, of course. But they're not great. Somebody's got to get in. If it's not us, it'll be Seattle or it'll be San Francisco. Whomever doesn't win that division will get the last wild card if it's not us. Somebody's got to get in. It might as well be us. Why the hell not? But you're right. You didn't say anything wrong there. These are the mistakes that keep you at or below 500. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, this week, Turner said players got to play better. That's the shit that got me, that ate at me. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to say anything, but the audacity of this man to come here and say players got to play better. They do need to play better, but before you even start to talk about somebody else needing to play better, you need to coach better. You need to call plays better. And that's the shit that pisses me off. I don't have a problem with guys not doing this or not doing that because mistakes happen. Sometimes you got to give the other team credit. They get paid too. Accountability is the thing that I'm big on. Just be accountable. That's it. Just be accountable. Right? That was my problem with Robert Griffin III. That's my problem with Scott Turner right now. Just be accountable. Own your shit, and I got no problems with you. Own it. But he wants to point at the players and say they got to play better. No, you got to coach better. You got to call better plays. That stuff is crazy to me. He says, never acknowledge his faults. I'd love to be a fly on the wall during film study to hear the excuses. I've watched the film, and in past years, I could make excuses for Scott Turner, like, hey man, this shit is open. Like Alex ain't pulled the trigger. This shit is open. Dwayne just isn't seeing the field. Guys are open. That's not the case this year. There'll be one or two plays every game where you're like, damn, if the offensive line holds up, there's a shot opportunity down the field. But his play calling has gotten worse each and every single year. It has got progressively worse and worse. And it was supposed to be, he's got all this talent now. He's supposed to be on full display, and he's gotten worse with the talent that he's been given. Andrew Webster, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, if we're going to have bad play calling and back-breaking interceptions anyway, might as well have Howell in there. That's not the way that this works. It's not how any of this works. Love the way St. Jude stepped up against one of the best wide receivers in the league, though. I did as well. I thought, and I don't know if I said this, but thank you for being a member of the MOBB, Andrew Webster. I was really proud of him. I did not think he could play the way that he played today. He gave up his fair share of plays, and you're going to do that against one of the league's best. But, and you know, the one day he gave up the deep ball that he gave up, he was tired, man. He was gassed. I mean, I shame on Del Rio for not having help over the top on that particular snap. But I thought he played his ass off. He gave us a chance. He forced the interception right before halftime. He stopped him on that third down. That should have given us an opportunity with the football back with about 1:50 and a timeout. Juice did his thing. He gave us a fighting chance in this game. So shout out to Benjamin St. Juice, man. He exceeded my expectations in this game. He really, truly did. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. William Lee, who writes, I craved a game this good with Wentz. When we first started the season off, I thought there would be opportunities. And we saw, you know, Jacksonville and even the second half against Detroit, when the offense was humming, you know, what it could be. But we haven't gotten even remotely close back to that since week 2, second half of week 2 versus Detroit. We haven't even come remotely close to scoring 27 points. Like that was the thing this offseason. Oh, we're going to score so many points and we're going to be such a dynamic offense this year. Like gone are the days of trying to slug it out, scoring 17 points. I think one of my declarations before the season started, we're going to score 30 or more points. I think I said 27 or more points 6 times. I might have even said 30 or more 6 times this season. And I felt confident in that after the first 2 weeks. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. We haven't even gotten remotely close to the 27 points we scored against the Lions in the second half of that game. We haven't gotten remotely close to that. That Packers 23 points, that didn't even feel like 23 points. Our offense is like watching paint dry. It's like pulling teeth. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Abdallah, who writes, Jack's defense played slow this season, but I got to say I'm proud of their progression. As long as Jack's got time, he can mold good defenders. I'd keep him at D coordinator. The one thing that I complained about was that I said, I don't think the games necessarily passed him by. At times it did feel that way. I'm like, I don't think that's the case with him. I said, my biggest problem with him is that he's too stubborn at times when he needs to bring pressure. He wants to just rush 4, and our line isn't generating the kind of pressure that you need by themselves to be able to cover the back end that's struggling. At some point, you got to make a decision. All right, am I going to allow my back end to get gutted because I want to rush 4, but we're not hitting home, or am I going to do something about it? And he would sit on his hands too often and do nothing, and it would frustrate me to no end. This year, he's mixed in a little bit more blitzing, but the D-line has played better. Let's call a spade a spade. The reason Jack Del Rio doesn't have to be extra special is because he can just rush 4, drop 7, play coverage, and the back end doesn't have as much stress being put on them because the D-line is getting home. Like they got to Kirk today. They hit him a bunch today. So, the great Watubi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Cam Curl is super valuable to this defense. Played great since he's come back. I mean, that tackle on Adam Thielen is a touchdown saving tackle on a 3rd down. It means huge. Cam Curl, even the touchdown he gave up to Dalvin Cook, that's a hell of a throw by Kirk Cousins. He couldn't have ran up and handed it to him any better, partner. I mean, damn. I mean, he already had one of Dalvin Cook's arms pinned down, and Cook just stuck the other paw out there, and the ball just fell in his arm, and he just clutched it. I mean, what else you want him to do? Like even the Aaron Jones touchdown 2 weeks ago. Great coverage by Cam Curl. On a broken play where Aaron Jones turns it up and goes up. As a matter of fact, that's the same exact play he got beat on. Aaron Jones ran it out. He ran it out. Aaron Jones took it up the field after Rodgers broke the pocket, took it up the field, and Rodgers threw a bullet to him, touchdown. He was in great position then, just a better throw. They ran a little out towards the sticks. Then he went up, and Kirk gave him a ball, and it was back corner of the end zone. And I thought Cam jumped too soon. Thought he used that bullet a little bit too quickly, but it was a great throw. It really was. But Cam has been huge, for sure. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rob Yu writes, this was a golden opportunity to change the narrative. What happens moving forward with Heinicke when Wentz comes back? And of course, how? Well, I've said this already. I thought he needed to be damn near perfect to keep Wentz at bay. The anticipation is that you don't beat Philadelphia next week. I like our chances, but I liked our chances today, but I didn't think we would win today, and I don't think we're going to win next week either. And so 2-2 is what you want from your backup quarterback in a 4-game stretch. Just don't throw up all over yourself. You know, steady the ship. He did that. He did that. And so, unfortunately, he took over a team that was 2 games under 500, and he's going to give the team back to Wentz at 2 games under 500. And we'll see what Wentz does from there. I don't think Heinicke's performance has been good enough to stop them from putting Wentz back in the game. Again, you know, the Heinicke magic, I think he would have had a chance had Ridgeway not done what he did. He would have gotten a chance, and I like Heinicke in those situations. I truly do. I like Heinicke under 2 minutes late in ball games better than Heinicke for the first 58 minutes of the game. And so I got no doubts he was going to do some damage had he been given a rock and an opportunity, but he never got that chance. That said, he hasn't been great. He hasn't been outstanding to the point where you're like, don't put Wentz back in. They want to see what Wentz can do. And they think the offense has greater potential with Carson Wentz under center. And so they're going to stick 11 back in there, whether you like it or not. Unless Heinicke goes out there and has a game for the ages against the Eagles on Monday night in an upset win that knocks off the undefeated Eagles, he's going back to the bench more likely than not in week 11 when Wentz is eligible to come off of IR against the Houston Texans. That's my guess. JB Johnson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JB writes, Heinicke has scaled back on his threat of being mobile, which is not opening up the field. We even play a slightly above average game offensively and we win. I don't even know if slightly above average is necessary. Just an average game. Don't turn it over. What was my one thing? Just play a clean game. I said, I'm not looking for any turnovers against Minnesota. And we got a turnover. I wasn't even looking for one. Just don't turn it over yourself, and I like our chances. If we don't turn the ball over in this game, our offense was either average to below average in this game. It would have been enough to win if you just don't turn it over. Again, if that drive that Heinicke throws the pick on, and it wasn't just that he threw a pick, it's the return all the way down inside the 25-yard line. Like somebody tackle old man Harrison Smith, right? Somebody tackle his old dirty ass. Nobody tackles him. And at that drive just ended with a kick, whether it's a field goal, an extra point, or a punt. I think we win the football game. I don't see the Vikings driving, 77 yards for a touchdown. I just don't. Not with the way the defense was playing. But they didn't have to. They didn't have to. Future Millionaire. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou, this is a start or bench question. Who would you rather have starting, Ryan Kerrigan and Brian Rappo, or Chase Young and Montez Sweat? Is that even a real question? Is that even a real question? I'll let you decide what you think my answer is. But just based off of what I just said to you, you tell me what you think. the answer is. J. Kurt 20. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. J. Kurt 20 writes, I don't see Wentz getting back in the lineup, especially with the uncertainty with ownership. You just can't give that second pick away. Wentz was not good. Well, he's already missed 4 games. So he's missed a percentage of the season already. All right. It doesn't take much more for him to not meet that 70% threshold. So if you ask me, he's definitely going back in the game. They're not thinking about that draft pick right now. It's not until later on in the season. If he sucks, they'll get him out of there. It won't be a second round pick. It'll be a third round pick if he sucks. If he's any good and his team is winning and he's giving us a chance to make the postseason, they're going to keep him in there and they'll be willing to give up the second round pick. So I don't think we're in a pretty good spot with that pick as that's concerned, because again, he missed 4 weeks already. That's a quarter of the season, a shade under a quarter of the season. All right. If you're not playing good football down the stretch or you're out of it, he's out of there. They're not going to give up a pick. So they're more inclined to find out if he's the guy or not. They're not so much worried about a second round pick, a third turning into a second, as much as they are, is this the guy we can move forward with at the quarterback position or not? They're more concerned with that. And in order to find that out, they got to put him back in the lineup. And the only thing that would have prevented them from doing that is if Heineke had been playing the type of football that suggests we can't take this man out of the lineup. But that's not what Taylor Heineke's doing. So they'll be able to move on from Heineke when Wentz is healthy enough to get back into the lineup. Brian Norfleet, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou. What's up, Brian? The game was entertaining, so I'm not too mad. Feel we need to move Taylor around so he can better see and prevent the balls getting batted. That's one of the things that you would think Scott Turner would do, but they don't. And then on a 4th down, randomly, you just decide you want to move the pocket now. I mean, this Scott Turner dude, man, I swear. I don't know, man. He's built different, man. I'll just say that. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, when the hell is an African burn, Lou? One of those when you twist the arm, in 2 different directions and it burns. It's Indian burn, and then there's an African burn. One's one direction, one's the other direction. At least that's what we call them. So, yeah. And I was using that as an analogy, twisting of the arm to get him to do certain things. Tight end screen is what I think I was referring to when I said that. But yeah, you get my drift. The Phillies Ace 34. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, my guy Louie, what's good? My Phillies let the Braves off the hook, but let's see you next year. But your man, always respect you. You're the man. Always respect you in Washington. Dallas sucks. Thank you. I appreciate you as always. Your Phillies didn't get it done, but your Eagles are playing outstanding football, and we'll see where that goes. Hopefully their season ends exactly like the Phillies does. Close, but no cigar. That's the hope. I hope they don't even make it that far, though. Don't make it to the Super Bowl, but we'll see. They're playing really good ball, so we'll see what happens. The Phillies Ace, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, we better not play with our food this week. You better not, because you played with us the last time, and Wentz and the offensive line was so bad last time around that you didn't have to do anything. I'm just telling you right now, this defense is different than the last time you saw us. It's a totally different defense than the last time you saw us. And like I said, our defensive effort wasn't bad. There was a stretch of about 10 minutes in the second quarter where you went off. And some of it was aided by Carson Wentz fumbling, and you had the football at like the 12-yard line or something like that. And that's how you got your first touchdown. And then if we could just tackle Dallas Goedert, I don't know what the hell Cam Curl was doing there. I don't need to relive that again. I'm just telling you, the defense played well enough for us to win that game. Period. We didn't make enough plays. And if we could just turn around and locate the ball, there were opportunities for picks in that game. So I like my chances. As I said the last time, I like my chances against the Eagles. Let's see what happens. I expect them to win. Don't get it twisted. But I like my chances. Don't play with your food, though. If you got us down, go ahead and beat us to a pulp. All right? Because if you let us hang around, this is the type of shit that can happen. You let us hang around, this is a different team than what you saw earlier in the season. You let us hang around, then you give us hope. All of a sudden, now we think we got a shot. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Big Money Sonny writes, 7 receptions, 115 yards, 1 touchdown is not strapped, Lou. Stop it. Did I say he was strapped? Somebody else said that. Okay. I didn't say he strapped him down. I said he played well. Okay. A lot of y'all hear what y'all want to hear. Okay. I didn't say Benjamin St. Juste locked him down. I said he played well against one of the best receivers in football. And of that 115, how much of that came on the first drive of the game? And how much of it came on that one deep ball that he had when Juice was gassed? Okay. You go ahead and do the math on that. I don't have to. I just know 2/3 of those yards and receptions came on the first drive of the game, and then that one catch down the field when Juice ran back a pick six, blitzed probably from 5 yards out, sacked Kirk Cousins, and was tired and got beat on a slot fade. So I think my man played a hell of a ball game personally, but anyway, I digress. Timothy Walker, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Timothy, writes, crushing loss. Don't want to see Wentz back. Like my chances with Heineke better. I think we can beat the Eagles if our defense played like they did today. Let's go. You can like your chances with Heineke better all you want. I don't think you're wrong. I think Heineke gives us a better chance. I don't even know what that even means because let's be honest. How much different has the offense looked with Heineke in? Think about the wins, right? The game against Green Bay, I was encouraged. We scored 23 points, and I thought we moved the football very well in that game, especially the second half. First half, it was rough. And there were opportunities. Heineke was throwing the ball all over the place, missing guys, pick six, all kinds of nonsense. Second half, the Packers are lucky they didn't get blown out. That's keep it a buck. They were lucky to not be blown out in that game. I didn't feel that way last week against Indianapolis. We were not a good offense last week. We were not a good offense this week. And so, yeah, one game of, oh, man, this is what we expected. Heineke, better, efficient, player within the framework of this offense. We're going to score more points. We had it. That was the highlight against Green Bay. 17 against the Colts, 17 against the Vikings. We're back to right where we were when Wentz got injured. Maybe we weren't scoring 17 when Wentz got injured. He scored 12 against the Bears, and really, if not for a muff punt, that we wouldn't have even gotten that. He scored 17 against the Titans, right? So he's shown the ability to score 17 points as well. So how much better has the offense performed with Heineke in there? I can tell you that if Heineke didn't play in the last two games and it was Wentz, we would not have won those games. I think there's an argument to be made there, and I think that's the case. But in saying that, still, the fact remains, we were averaging probably 1 turnover and 17 points with Wentz. And with Heineke, we're averaging 1 turnover and 17 points. So what's the difference? I don't think there's much of a difference. So I agree. Heineke's wheels, his ability to extend plays, that gives you a better shot than Wentz, curling into the fetal position, or Wentz looking like he's got a refrigerator on his back and not being able to extend plays. I do think that makes a difference. But I think this staff wants to see what Wentz brings to the table. Again, because remember, it's easy for us to dismiss Wentz because he didn't play well. The offensive line was in shambles, and say that, Wentz looked scared and he was missing guys and he was inaccurate, this, that, and the third, and all those things are true. But also keep in mind, this is his first year in the offense. And so you're throwing a guy in there, first time in an offense. He's had 18 different offensive line combinations, 4 different centers. It's tough. No real threat of a run game. You're asking a lot of a guy. So I think they want to see what Wentz can do if given the opportunity to get back in there. And I think he will get that opportunity. So it was a crushing loss. I think Heineke does give us the best chance, but they're going to go back to Wentz. FL2s, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, shout out Kendall Fuller, dude was balling today. You're not going to hear that. I appreciate you bringing it up, but you're not going to hear that. Only when Kendall gets cooked. Then his name, we would have been hearing about Baked Ziti all day, right? Man has a really solid game, really 2 weeks in a row. He was solid last week too. And you don't hear shit from anybody about Kendall Fuller. Don't want to give him any credit. Love to kill him when he has a poor game, but he has a bang-up game where he's breaking shit up. Not a Pete. Thank you for that, FL2s. Red Wing 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, we need to know what Hal is. Else we might use a first round on a quarterback when he's actually good, and we may miss out on a corner or an O-lineman. Again, you'd love to find that out, but you find yourself in quite the quandary. By being 4-5, right in the midst of a playoff push, with a lot of big games coming up on the schedule, none bigger than the one on Monday, because you're 0-3 right now in the division, as is, or is it 0-2? You're 0-2 in the division, as is. You need a division win bad, right? You're not going to sacrifice the other 52 men on the roster at the expense of finding out if Sam Howell can play or not. That's not where this team is. So while you would love to experiment with that, that's not where this team is right now. That's not where Deron Payne or Jonathan Allen or Benjamin St-Juste, like, that's not where those dudes are. They're trying to win now. They're not worried about, well, can Sam Howell play and can he help us win next year and the year after that? They're worried about winning games now. So you can't tell those guys in the locker room, hey, we got to try out Sam Howell and see if he's good. Y'all cool with that? No, hell no, we're not cool with that. Who gives us the best chance to win right now? It ain't Sam Howell. Because he's going to make rookie mistakes. Yep, he's going to extend some plays with his legs. He's going to make some things happen. And he's going to make some throws that make you say, wow. But he's also going to do some boneheaded shit like he did in the preseason, where he threw some picks. And you're like, what kind of a throw is that? What kind of a decision was that? What were you looking at right there? It's one thing to do that in the preseason. It's another thing to do that in the regular season when you're trying to win ball games. So while for a fan, yeah, it sucks because he may actually be good, to your point. We're not going to find that out no time soon. Miss Perry, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Hit that Jerome Boger one more time. Personal foul, number 91, roughing the center, 15-yard penalty, half a distance to the goal, first down, Minnesota. Timeout. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Big Money Sonny writes, all the TH4 lovers now want Howell. Trash. Look, it's fun when you win. He's a great story, easy to get behind and root for. But again, I always tried to be the voice of reason because there were, with this fan base, and this fan base isn't alone. A lot of fan bases are like this. I always laugh because I look at other content creators with their fan base, and they go through some of the same thing that I go through with some of you in this fan base, and they don't handle it all that well. And I'm just like, bro, you do it long enough, you figure out how to navigate. But everybody thinks that their fan base is the worst. Our fan base isn't the worst. There are other fan bases that are just as bad, if not worse. And everybody wants something to believe in. You want a reason to believe. When you don't have a quarterback, it was just funny watching the Colts last week with them playing Sam Ehlinger and listening to the fan base. Some of them like Sam Ehlinger. The others think he stinks. He's not the answer. We need to get a quarterback. And then a lot of people are saying, well, how can you tell after 1 week? And so it's just funny watching other teams go through the same shit that we're going through, right? But this is where you find yourself when you don't have a quarterback, when you don't have that guy under center. You're constantly searching for that guy. And we've been doing it for 3 decades. So Heineke gave us something to believe in. I told y'all, one of the titles of one of my CNN shows was, and I think it was on the Victory Monday, the very first one after we beat Green Bay. I think it was something to the effect of, the Heineke momentum may not be permanent, but it's real. And that's my way of saying, hey, look, enjoy the ride, man. Like, you Big Money Sonny in particular, your big picture, you see what it is, you understand, but you're not allowing yourself to just enjoy the moment. Just enjoy the moment. Enjoy the ride. Some of y'all are too fixated on the big picture. This NFL thing is week to week, right? It's day to day. It's snap to snap. Just enjoy the ride. Some of y'all, oh, he sucks anyway. He's going to be garbage. Okay, that's fine. You're probably right. Just enjoy the ride. You know, that's the person where you're like, hey, bro, and we going out of town. He can't come with us. He can't go with us. Because he's always bitching and complaining. I'm not talking about you in particular, Big Money Sonny. There was this guy that I saw on social media, and everything was Taylor Heineke sucks. Taylor Heineke sucks after the game last week. And I'm like, he can't come with us on the trip because I want to have a good time. The last thing I want is the dude that's complaining, oh my God, you see these prices? Bitch, either you're going to pay for it or don't. Get a drink, don't get a drink. You can sit there looking sappy while we all having a good time. If you don't want to pay the price, don't pay the damn prices. But don't sit here and bitch and complain about the shit. I don't want to hear it. We in the car. Oh, it's a lot of traffic. Shut your ass up. You want to walk? Get out. Walk. Stop bitching and complaining all the time. Just enjoy the goddamn ride. Enjoy the trip. We paid all this money to go on vacation, and you want to complain the whole goddamn time. Just enjoy the trip. Enjoy it. No, the alcohol doesn't taste as good as it does in the States. Enjoy it. We went to Mexico. The alcohol tasted like garbage. Wasn't going to stop me from having a good time. Hey, pour me another one, man. This is a margarita. You call this a margarita? This shit trash. Give me another one. I'm going to have a good time. Enjoy the ride. That's all I'm saying. Look, yeah, Heineke's not a starter. We've already established that. For those that think he is, let them live in their truth. That bubble will burst eventually, and they'll come back to reality with the rest of us. Let them enjoy the ride, though. That's their ride. We don't need the person that's always going to constantly keep trying to make the ride less enjoyable. We are 4-5 team. We were 1-4. We want a reason to believe and have a season. Heineke gave us a chance to do that. Just let them enjoy that. Cohen Conrick. Thank you for the super chat. Cohen Conrock. Greatly appreciate you, who writes, am I tripping or did 1 for 15 and a TD not feel like JJ whooped us? Betty got a third of that on the first drive. Ready for Philly. Hope all is well, Lou. Cohen, you're not wrong. I literally just said the same thing. He had to have every bit of 35 to 40 yards on the first drive. And then what was his long? I guarantee you his long was the deep ball that he got juice on when he was gassed. I'm going to make an excuse for my boy because my boy played his ass off in this game. 47 yards. So you take away the 47, you can't take it away, but the 47-yarder was on a dude that was probably tongue was just hanging, right? Dude was exhausted after that little sequence. And I don't know if y'all know this. Juice was following him. That was star coverage. I don't know if y'all paid attention. Y'all didn't peep game. He followed 18 around the entire field. Brav effing O. Jack Del Rio, Benjamin St. Juice, both of y'all stand up, take a damn bow. I saw Kendall Fuller on the opposite side of the field checking Adam Thielen. I'm like, what you doing over there? That ain't your side of the field. He was like, oh, yeah, Juice got star coverage with Justin Jefferson. Star coverage? And he held up. You can read me 7 for 115. I know what the shit say. I know how my boy played in this game, too. F. Altus, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. F. Altus writes, y'all need to chill on B-Rob. Yeah, he ain't playing great right now, but understand where he came through and where his body is and where it needs to be. Blame Scott. He hasn't been great, but he's not the guy that we saw at Alabama right now. And we know he's been through a lot. And so that's my problem is with the coaching staff. Continuing to put this guy, and look, you ask B-Rob, he won't give you any excuses. He won't tell you that it has anything to do with him getting shot or anything like that. But he's not playing well. He's not seeing it well. He's not hitting the hole. My thing is, give me Antonio Gibson. If that's what we're getting from B-Rob right now, give me Antonio Gibson. A little bit more Gibson. That's it. I'm with you though. Like you can't like this whole B-Rob is trash and all like that shit. I ain't buying that. I'm not signing up for that. Tony P 56. Thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. All right, Lou, you think the fake screen works week 10? I bet you Scott Turner, dumbass, gonna try to find out. I bet you he tries to find out. We'll fake the screen this way, throw it back this way, and the Eagles gonna blow the shit up for a 7-yard loss next week on Monday night. I'm pretty sure he's gonna try. It didn't work yet, but this has got to be the week it works. He's gonna keep working the shit until he finally thinks it works. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I want your opinion. The Astros legit or cheaters? I think they're a little bit of both. A wise man once said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. The Astros, I think they are constantly pushing the envelope to the very, very end and edge. They do some questionable shit. But at the end of the day, they're not the only ones that do questionable shit. Baseball is all about cheating and not getting caught. Stealing signs, pitchers tipping pitches. You at second base and you looking at the signs to see, hey, you telling the dude, hey, he getting a fastball. Like baseball is all about, hey, how can I get an advantage? It's just one of those sports. I do think the Astros are still up to some shit, but it ain't like as sophisticated as banging twice on the trash can in the dugout for, hey, he about to throw a fastball. I don't think they on some sophisticated shit like they were last time when they won the World Series. But I do think that they, the substances and shit, I think they had a little extra going on. Javier looked like he was doing some crazy shit. But look, they won. I'm happy for Dusty. I'm not taking shit from him. The Great Watubi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, we need to get Amani Rodgers involved more. How many times do I need to say it, man? Every time the dude touches the ball, something major happens. It's not a 4-yard screen to John Bates. If he touches the screen, it's 15 yards. He touches the jet sweep, it's 25 yards. The dude runs a 4.5. I already told y'all what he could be. If they develop him correctly, I don't trust this group to do any goddamn thing. But if they develop him correctly, he could be Darren Waller. He's that talented. I would argue he might even be more talented than Darren Waller because he's way faster than Darren Waller. But he's young. Understand that. He's young. This is a new position. This is his first year playing tight end. So you want to bring him along, accordingly. But he's proven that he's capable. Put more on his plate. Give him more opportunities. By any means, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, anyone concerned about Bezos relocating the team? No, I'm not. I can't speak for anybody else out there, but I'm not concerned about him relocating the team. Doesn't he live in this area? Why would he want to take the team away from this area? Where is he going to take the team where it's going to be more lucrative than here? I don't understand. Like, this is one of the most profitable markets in the country. Where are you taking? You going to take the team to St. Louis? I mean, where are you going to take the team? Seattle? Hey, where are you going to take the team? Team's not going anywhere. Will you take San Antonio? I don't have any issues. I don't see him taking the team anywhere, personally. B-Hat, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what up, Louie? What's up, B-Hat? This is a tough pill to swallow, but a lot of season left. Do you think with this single loss, we're going to see Carson back at QB1? Yes, I do. I most certainly do. I already had, and it sucks because had John Ridgeway not committed the penalty, I really think Carson or excuse me, Heineke would have had a chance to have that Heineke magic once again, and it could have been the difference between him staying in as starter or being relegated back to the bench when Carson is healthy. This loss, because Heineke had a big pick. That's a massive mistake. Again, that was a clean pocket. Easy for him to step up and throw, and he missed. That's the ones you can't stomach. Last week, you could make an excuse, pressure on him, arm hit as he's throwing the football. Ain't no excuse for this one. This one is a backbreaker and a game changer. And everything. Last week, you were losing when he threw the pick, and it compounded and made it worse. This week, you are winning with a defense that is playing its ass off. Just give them a chance to defend 70, 80 yards of grass. That's it. That's all. Just give them a chance to defend 80 or 90 yards of grass. And if they can't do it, then they don't get it done. You didn't give them that opportunity. Yeah, I think Carson's back. Again, he's got one more opportunity. And he's got to play the game of his life. And I'm talking, he's got to be 27 of 33 for, 307, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And we got to go to Philadelphia and we got to beat them 31-24 or 31-27. We're not doing that. He's not doing that. So I think he's back in week 11. J Mart, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, J Mart, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, frustrating loss. ST and RR, Scott Turner and Ron Rivera, are morons. When will the play calling and situational football stop costing us games? The good teams execute, but not us. Well, you just answered your own question or your own comment. The good teams execute. We're not a good team. That's it. I mean, situationally, the good teams find a way to get it done. You don't have to perform at the highest of high levels. You're not going to on a week in, week out basis. It's tough in this league. But what you do need to do is the smart stuff, the little things, and that's what helps separate the team that's 4-5 like we are and the team that's 6-3. You think the Titans are better than us? Because they're not. You think the Titans have more talent than us? Because they don't. You know what the Titans are? Better coached. You know what the Titans are? better situationally. That's what the Titans are. When it matters most, they don't wet the bed. And their coaching staff gets it done. That's the difference. With a better offensive coordinator or a better head coach, even with all the shit we've got going on the offensive line and with the quarterbacks and all of that stuff, this is a 6-3 ball club with a better staff. Bare minimum. May even be better than that. But you're at a bare minimum 6-3 with a better coaching staff. But that's not us. We are who we are. Logan Lodo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I knew we were doomed when I seen Jerome Boger was calling the game. LOL. I did as well. I tried to block it out. And honestly, they did a really good job up until the second half. But I said that when I when I saw him make the first call of the game, I said, uh-oh, that can't be good. You remember, I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan, or especially early in his career. One of my favorite movies is Big Daddy. And you remember where we wasted the good surprise on you, right? And he's about to propose to her, and he's like, you're not about to propose, are you, buddy? Just think about it. He's like, yes, honey, I am. And it's kind of this anticlimactic proposal because, you know, he interrupted him and he goes outside and he's like, Sonny's apologizing, like, man, I'm sorry. You know, he was going through it with his girl and, you know, just everything was kind of spiraling out of control in his life. And he kind of was projecting that on him. And he went to the putt. That's one of their things. He goes to the putt. He's like, yo, you know, she's going to come back. She's going to forgive me. Everything's going to go well if I make this putt. He makes the putt, and then a rat comes out of the hole and knocks the ball out. And Jon Stewart goes, that can't be good. When I saw Jerome Boger, that's how I felt like, hell, that first possession didn't go well. Now I see Jerome Boger. That can't be good. But we were up 17-7. Shit was going well. Caleb Meekins, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Right, Scott needs Samuel in the run game. 5 a game. Again, for the life of me, I don't understand why this is so hard for him to comprehend. We're winning football games, and Curtis Samuel is a huge part of the run game, not just as a receiver. He's touching it in the run game. You give him one carry, he has 16 yards, and you don't give it to him again in the game. Where's the psychological sense in that? Where's the psychological sense? Make it make sense for me. Help me understand. Help me. David, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. David writes, 4th and 1, and maybe it should be a fight with Scott. Yeah, it was 4th and 1. 4th and 1, and you want to run a bootleg. And they called it. First of all, you got to burn a timeout. In the second half. I'm like the guy in Dumb and Dumber. You know, when your boy's on the phone, big man's on the phone, Minstrel's on the phone, and he's like, oh, and he turned his back on him. He told him, like, bro, get out of here. He said, he turned his back on me. He didn't like it. And the dude with the glasses walking around like he's about to do something. He comes back and he bangs on the little phone booth. And Mental's like, I can't hear you. Come closer. He's like, hang up the phone. He's like, I can't hear you. You got to come closer. Hang up and he punches him in the face. That's kind of how I felt with Scott Turner. Like, bro, are you serious? Oh my God. They called a timeout. They just wasted a timeout. And this man comes and runs a bootleg. I just wanted to punch him in his face. I can't hear you, Scott. What did you say? Come a little closer. effing believable. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Derek B writes, TH Chance pissed off the football gods and did us in. I didn't hear them on TV. I heard some of y'all saying in the MOBB that they were chanting his name after the touchdown pass to Dax Milne. We were up by 10, man. They were feeling good. I told you that Heineke gives the fans something to believe in. I already told you it's going to be short-lived. You know that this comes with faults and flaws. All right, this is not a perfect dynamic here with Heineke under center, but he's our guy. He's our flawed and imperfect backup quarterback that's in, and he's giving us a chance. And the fans can rally behind that. Yin Yang Experience. Excuse me. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Yin Yang Experience writes, how was Zadarius Smith getting by us? He's a beast. That's how. And they kept moving him around. He would line up like last week over the center. He would line up over the guard. They would put him at defensive end. He got Cornelius Lucas. He beat he beat our guard once, Andrew Norwell, or at least twice. So he's a tough matchup for anybody. He's really good. He's really skilled. And he's not the most explosive guy. And that's the thing where I talk about just having skill and understanding what it means to be a pass rusher. He gets it. Certain dudes do. Anthony T, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you again for the super chat, Anthony T. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Trev writes, Rams DT leaps over offensive guard and center to block field goal. I'm hurt. But that's not John Ridgeway. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an athletically gifted dude that is capable. Like, you're John Ridgeway. Understand who you are, what you're capable of, and what your role is, and play that. You're trying to be a superhero here. For what? It cost us the game, opportunity to win the game. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. As always, Big Money Sonny writes, fans who thought 18 was strapped are also the same delusional mama huevos who think TH4 played a great game and he's our savior. Look, so the viewer, excuse me, who said he strapped him, he was being a little bit over the top with that phrase. Okay, cut him some slack. All he was saying was Juice had a good game. You could throw out 7 for 115 and a touchdown, and I'll counter by telling you that it's the same thing I felt about the Eagles when we played them. And Eagles fans, most of them, they're too far gone. You can't rationalize with them, and it is what it is. But I'll take my chances against a team if I shut them down for 3 quarters. They got us in the second quarter. That was it. They scored 24 points in the second quarter. And we helped them score 24 points in the second quarter. And we dropped opportunities to pick off passes in the second quarter when they scored 24 points. They didn't score a point in this first quarter, the third quarter, or the fourth quarter. Justin Jefferson had a drive, and he had one more drive. And really, there was a drive, and then there was one catch for 47 yards. Outside of that, the first possession of the game, if I'm not mistaken, he either had 3 catches or he had 4 catches on the first drive of the game. And that touchdown. After that, the guy was radio silent until the fourth quarter when he had the 47-yard catch. And again, give me Juice Not after a pick six return for a touchdown, not after blitzing and sacking the quarterback, and then 2 plays later getting Justin Jefferson over the top. Give me Juice doing what Justin Jefferson did on them plays, which is absolutely nothing. Ready to go on 3rd down and 7 and try to go get a first down. But to your point, anybody that thinks he shut him down, absolutely, he didn't shut him down, but he played his ass off. Who went into the game thinking that Justin Jefferson was going to be, and you can't say he was a non-factor, but I will tell you this, TJ Hawkinson was a bigger problem in the game than Justin Jefferson was. And you're a damn fool if you think that's wrong. Hawkinson got us on more 3rd downs. Hawkinson was the dude we had no answer for. I thought Jefferson was going to have that kind of an impact on the game. And after watching the first possession, I was like, oh, shit, here we go. This was what I was afraid of. We got nobody for Justin Jefferson. I was wrong. We did have somebody for him today. Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, is this the end? Are you my friend? It seems to be. It's not the end. It sucks because everything we wanted was right there in front of us. But as I mentioned earlier, it was too much for us. We couldn't handle it. One of our biggest problems since Daniel Snyder has bought this team is we haven't handled success, no matter who's been here. Whether Joe Gibbs 2.0, Shanahan, it all goes back to the same theme. We don't handle success well. Joe Gibbs, the last time we won a playoff game was in 2005 with Joe Gibbs. That offseason, he decides, game has passed me by. I need to go get Al Saunders and scrap the whole entire offense that we've been running for the last 2 years and give Al Saunders the keys to do this thing. Why? It was working, Joe. Because we can't handle success. That's why. The Shanahans, 2012. We saw what happened there, right? Nobody handled success well. The Shanahans didn't handle it well that year. Robert didn't handle it well. It all went to hell in a handbasket in 2013. Everybody got fired. Jay Gruden comes in. We win a division in 2015. Couldn't win a playoff spot against a Giants team that had nothing to play for in week 17 the following year. First game of the season, Antonio Brown is twerking on us. We don't know how to handle success. Jim Zorn this team's 5-2 on a Monday night, and the Steelers come in here with terrible towels and smash us. We don't handle success well. We never have under this regime of Daniel Snyder. No matter who the coach is. Ron wins the division his first year at 7-9. The next year, they go out and get Ryan Fitzpatrick. They got all these expectations. We go 7-9 again. They go out. They go get Carson Wentz. We got all this offensive firepower. We got all these expectations. Offense is just as bad, if not worse. Defense playing well, though. Up 10 to a 6-1 ball club with a chance to make it 4 straight. Get over 500. Moment's too big. Can't handle it. It's not the end, but it's more of the same. Dane Calloway, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Dane writes, a running game was needed. If RB1 cannot get it done early, then shuffle the running backs a little and see what works. Then play action attack after that, in my opinion. A running game is always needed. The problem is we don't usually get it. I don't love, again, and this is not going to change, I don't love our run scheme. I don't think we're a gun run type of offense. But that's Scott Turner's scheme. So this is what we are. But I would much rather this team get under center and run it traditionally like other teams do. We got Alex Armour. Every time he comes in the game, we get 5 or 6 yards. But we refuse to put Alex Armour in for 2 consecutive plays. That's like criminal or something. It's almost as if Scott Turner thinks we're going to get a penalty if Alex Armour is on the field for more than 1 snap at a time. So there's no way we can give it to the running back with a fullback in front of him again. It's blasphemy. But every time Alex Armour is in and we run the football with him in the game, we get 4 or 5 yards every time. I think this offense would do so much better from a traditional running the football standpoint. But that's not what we do. 80% of our runs come out of gun. And we're not a good gun run team. J Mart, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling it up. J Mart, greatly appreciate you. Right. What up, LT? What's up, J Mart? He says, at the end of the day, we are just not good. Good teams find a way to hold on to 10-point leads in the fourth quarter. Decision-making is the downfall. Yeah, we are what we are. We're a 4-5 team, which means we're below average. We're below average in execution. We're below average in protecting the football. We're below average in scoring the football. We're below average in running the football. We're below average as a coaching staff. We're below average in play calling. We're below average. That's who we are. That's what we are. Our record indicates that, and our play on the field also indicates that. The Black Al B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Vikes definitely got stuff they got to clean up, but a wise man told me gritty, ugly win is still a brick in the left column. I'll take them however they come. Absolutely. You don't think for 1 second. Last week, we looked exactly the way you looked. And we were down 9 and we came back and we won. And we put that brick in the left-hand column and we were damn happy to do it. Doesn't matter how you get them, just get them. Put that brick in the left-hand column and keep it pushing. 3 weeks from now, no one's going to turn that brick over and say, oh, man, 20-17 over Washington. You're just going to say, oh, beat Washington, put the brick back down. That was the 6th one in a row. That's it. Joe Rockhead J. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, back home, you have no idea how pissed I am. You gave it a run, man. You gave it a run. You went there. You probably lost your voice, and you have nothing to show for it, and that sucks. Better luck next time. Appreciate the effort, though. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, Coach Gibbs' son just died. How many of his sons have passed away? I swear, one of them already. How many sons does he have? That's crazy if that's true. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, RG3 was accountable. Said he needs to play better. We're not going down this road, Metaphor, because you're an RG3 fan. And every time, we're not doing this. Your boy was not accountable. I'm not going to do this with you. But he also said each guy needs to look in the mirror, say what I need to do, all that. We're not doing that. Your boy was not accountable. Your boy was anything but accountable. That's part of the reason that no one could stand him. Teammates couldn't stand him. People wanted him out of here. That's why they chose Kirk over him. All right. He wasn't a stand-up dude. It was always somebody else's fault, never his. We're not going to do this, Metaphor. Love you like a play cousin, but we ain't doing that. Because I know that's your boy, but you got on rose-colored glasses when it comes to Robert Griffin III. It's the reason why that man is doing college football games. He's really good at it too, by the way. So really, really good at his second life, his second act. But the man is 20-something years old, should still be playing NFL football, and he's not. There's a reason why. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, get Scott hired as the Panthers head coach next year. Gone. They definitely don't want him back. He ain't leaving here. The only way we can get him out of here is if somebody else did give him a job to be a head coach, which is not going to happen. T. Roy, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, Lou, I have to give you credit. I believe you called Antonio Gibson's 47-yard kick return earlier this week. I told y'all he was going to pop one soon. I said, I don't think he's going to go for a touchdown, but I could see him. You could see, and you know when you see it. And I said, he's getting close, and he's not afraid to get hit. Like, the problem with a lot of kick returners, which is why guys like Cordero Patterson are so proficient, is you on a kickoff is full head of steam downhill, and you just make it work as you go. You can't be tiptoeing, lollygagging, looking for a hole. You got to just run like hell and hope some shit opens up and hit it. But you can't hit it if you're not going full speed already, because those holes open up like that and they close just as quickly. And I said, Gibby's going to turn one of these bad boys and turn the corner on one of these things. And that's what he did. He caught it. They kicked it short, and they thinking that Dax Mills is still back there. So they got played because they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to pop kick this thing up, and we're going to tackle him at the 22-yard line on the 17. He said, oh, yeah? All right, I'm about to turn on the Jets on y'all ass. He got it outside, turned the corner on their ass. I said, hell yeah. And that set up the first touchdown of the second half, even though that shit was lucky as hell. But, yeah, I said he was going to pop one, and he did. Spence Collis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Spence, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, TH is a backup. We knew this. We must move on. I mean, he's a backup, and he's playing his role right now. It's not like they benched Carson Wentz to put Taylor Heineke in. The man got hurt. Your backup quarterback comes in. He's fulfilling his role right now. The thing that we were hoping is that he would play well enough to maybe stiff arm Carson Wentz and keep him at bay when he was healthy, but he hasn't done that. Let's keep it. Even though he's won, he hasn't played extremely well. He's just done enough to win. He didn't today. So it's highlighted. Had we won this game, despite the interception, we would have been willing to overlook some shit. And we would have been talking that ultra shit and all of that. But the fact of the matter is, he's been pretty much Heineke light the entire time he's been starting. He's had ultra moments, but he's been Heineke light for the most part, with enough of the zero alcoholic content Heineke that has been troublesome, But he's been more light than anything else. The Black LB, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. The Black LB writes, in my Robert De Niro voice in regards to Heineke leading a comeback, there's a flip side to that coin. He would have thrown another back-breaking pick. You don't know our guy. You don't know our guy. That's not what we do over here, okay? So you just better be lucky John Ridgway did what he did. You didn't want to see our dude get on the field and at the end of the game. All right. I'll just leave it at that. Your defense did not want to see number 4 with the game on the line. We're only needing the field goal. We were going to get in the field goal range. The question is, were you going to get a touchdown put on your skull or not? With a timeout, you was about to get done in. But luckily, you didn't get exposed to that. Your feelings was going to get hurt. Your Phillies lost last night. You were going to lose this game in epic fashion. But luckily enough for you, you didn't get to see that. If there's one thing I can say about Taylor Heineke, is that when the moment is its biggest, at the end of the game that he's already effed up in, he can't wait for the redemption song. It's all I ever had. Redemption song. He's waiting for an opportunity to get that redemption song. And he was about to get that shit. Nothing hurt him more than when he saw the penalty and knew, he took his helmet off and he took a knee and he said, shit, I ain't gonna get a chance. That's what hurt him, because all he could think about was the interception. I don't get a chance to atone for that. So y'all got away with one. Joe Rockhead J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, thank you again for the tickets, Lou. Had fun till the end. Thank you for being a loyal member of the MOBB, man. Like I said, I'm just doing my small part. That's it. Glad you enjoyed it. And like I said, wish it could have been a better outcome. But really do appreciate you going and selling out for the squad. Joe Rockhead J, thank you for the super chat once again. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, thank you for the tickets, LT. It was fun till it wasn't. Yeah, I appreciate you once again going and getting it done, man. I said the same thing about the game. I said, man, I enjoyed that thoroughly until I didn't. It was a fun game to watch. Can only imagine how fun it was being there. Joe Rockhead J, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, the ref sounds like Leon Phelps, the ladies' man. Joe Rockhead J, I don't know where you've been. I don't know if you've been under a rock, but we've already explored that for years now. T-Roy, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, if it's not too much difference in quarterback play, 28 million versus 2 million, who they going with? Well, they're still not convinced that the $28 million guy isn't worth 28 million. So they need more convincing. So they're going to put the $28 million guy back in. That's the prevailing thought right now. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, Heineke still shit, Lou. He says, and the ride on vacation smells like a porta potty. I'll gladly complain until it's fixed. That's fine. But again, you can't come on the next trip with us then. That's all I'm saying. It's fine. You can complain all you want. But just know, when we're thinking about planning another trip, the first thing out of everybody's mouth is, hey, he can't come with us this time. Leave his ass at home. So when you don't get the invite, you know why. All right? There's going to be little things that you're going to have to deal with. You're not in the States. You're on vacation. You're somewhere else. They have different customs. Adjust. But enjoy yourself. That's all I'm saying. We know what Heineke is. We know what he isn't. Just enjoy the ride. You know what it is. We know what Carson Wentz is. We know what he isn't. Just enjoy the ride. Spence Callis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Spence Callis, double up, writes, I hear you, Lou. Enjoy the ride, but bumpy as hell. But we knew that. Again, we knew this was not going to be smooth sailing. We knew that with Carson Wentz. What did we say after week 1 when we beat Jacksonville? This is the Carson Wentz experience. It's going to be a hell of a roller coaster. Y'all buckle up. This shit is not going to be easy. You ever been on a Rebel Yell at Kings Dominion? This old ass rickety roller coaster that used to go forward and backwards. It was a wooden roller coaster. Your faculties had to be together. Because your neck was going to be on the ride the whole way. But it was a lot of fun. But it was bumpy as shit. And look, I wouldn't advise you to have your mouth open, clench your teeth, keep you from getting a headache. Understand what you're getting yourself into. Forwards, backwards, it don't matter. It's a wooden roller coaster that was built in the 70s. This shit is not going to be smooth at all. But we knew what we were signing up for. I got in line to ride the Rebel Yell because I know what I'm getting myself into. When we traded for Carson Wentz, we knew what we were getting ourselves into. When Heineke enters the ball game, we know what we're getting ourselves into. Enjoy the ride. I saw somebody say the Grizzly was bumpy. Yeah, you damn right it was. Both of them shits, old ass roller coasters, fun as hell, but you know what you're signing up for. Scary Terry, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, first game ever. Too many Vikings fans. Hey, look, this is a beaten down fan base. And I was anxious to see if the 3-game winning streak, coupled with Kirk coming back, coupled with the news of Snyder potentially selling, if that was going to bring back fans. Nope. Hell no. That stadium won't be full of Washington fans until Snyder's officially gone. So it doesn't matter. Amar, 2 times official. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, who writes, maybe it's just me, but people already hated Heineke. They acting like he came into the season and started. Did we just get blown out by the Panthers or something? We lost to a very good Minnesota team. He's 2-1. No, we didn't lose. We didn't get blown out by Carolina, but you were up 10 with the game, not necessarily seemingly in control, but again, as I've stated already, that drive up 17-10 just needed to end in a kick of some sort. Field goal, extra point, or a punt. Just make the Vikings have to earn it. They hadn't done it since the opening drive of the game. And the defense hadn't let up, and they hadn't shown any signs of giving up a 12-play, 85-yard drive. So just make them have to do it. His pick didn't allow the defense what they deserved and what they earned, which was the right to be able to say, let us put this game on our back and win it. He didn't take that away from them totally, but he took it away from them for the most part. Because the margin of error was so small after that pick. It's unfortunate because you saw what happened the previous possession. Vikings drove it down the field, got close, and what did they have to do? Settle for a field goal. Just give the defense a chance to bend but not break. You put them in a position where they were already extended, and they just snapped. And I remember typing in the MOBB before the drive even started. Once the pick happened, you can't expect the defense to keep standing up. And 2 plays later, Dalvin Cook's in the end zone for a touchdown. I mean, what would you expect? I wasn't mad, but I wasn't glad. But I put that on Heineke because that was unnecessary. That's like an unforced error. Those are the worst kinds. He didn't have to be 2-1. He could have been 3-0 right now. That's the problem. FL Toos, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I want to see Gibby on punt returns too. No, you don't. No, you don't. He says, also, why this dude not in the slot more? Scott's scared to utilize the full Gibby package, and I don't know why. Because he's a clown. Gibby should be moving all over the place. We should be getting one-on-one matchups with linebackers and safeties all over the place, and they're not. Our offense is so – I'm so over Scott Turner. I really am. I'm so over him. A lot of what he does just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't appeal to me. I don't think we utilize the talent that we have well enough. I see teams with much less talent getting more out of what they have because they're just better. They're just better. I don't want to see Gibby on punt returns. He's already said that punt returns much different than kickoff returns. He's never done it before. He's not afraid to do it, but I don't want him back there fielding a punt because, again, It takes a special type of individual to field punts. And you got to be wired a certain way. And I don't want Gibby back there on those. And he's even acknowledged, hey, returning punts is a little bit different. You're damn right it is. It's not for everybody either. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, public Venmo showed in feed Carson is equal to or greater than Ridgeway. I don't know what that means. Probably being slow. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, whether the highest of highs or the lowest of lows, THL. You know you're going to get a little bit of both. I was hoping we'd have a chance to see the highest of highs. Had he gotten the football back with that minute and 45 or whatever it was in that timeout, I think we might have seen it. Juan Gotti talking sports. Lou, I want Minnesota again. I hope we get that 7 seed. I would love to see them again because we know we can beat them. Whether it's in Minnesota or in Washington, I'd love the opportunity to see those boys again. Because one thing we do know, we can get to Kirk Cousins. And if we were to get that 7 seed and we were to see them again, Chase Young would be a part of that unit, we would think. Theoretically speaking, you would think that would be the case. And they would get some Jahan Dotson, something that they didn't get the first time. You would think. Again, can't confirm that that would be the case. Cole Holcomb would be playing. You would think that would be the case, but you couldn't be certain of that. But we're a long way away from that right now. There's a lot of football left to be played. We might not even be close to a 7 seed when it's all said and done. Who's to say? But I'd love it. I'm with you. I'd love to see them again. Styles make fights, and I like our style against theirs. I like our chances. J. Kirk 20. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. J. Kirk 20 writes, I wonder what Ron thinks the job Scott Turner is doing. He can't be pleased. I know he's having thoughts in his head saying, Scott, what the F are you doing? I don't know. I really don't know. That's a great question. Sometimes I look over, they do a pan shot to Ron, like after the little double flea flicker, thing that we did. Well, it was a reverse. It was a reverse pass, essentially, because he had the ball go to Gibby. He then pitches it to Curtis Samuel, who then pitches it back. I don't even know what the hell to call that shit. Whatever the hell it was. My dad would call it razzle dazzle. It was some razzle dazzle shit. I'm gonna just call it what the old people call it. Razzle dazzle. Okay. That shit was garbage. And they panned over to Ron, and Ron's got like a little grin on his face, like, what the f was that? I don't know what he thinks. Seems like every game at halftime, Ron is having to go to Scott and tell him, bro, this is what we need to do. So I don't know. I don't think he's actually thinking about doing anything, but I don't know if he's even thinking to himself like he was with the defensive line coach. You see the biggest difference right now is Sam Mills is no longer here, and Jeff Skanina is getting the most out of this defensive line without Chase Young. That's the biggest difference right now. I don't know if he feels like a change needs to be made on offense, but there's no change like that to be made. Because he didn't fire the defensive coordinator, he fired the D-line coach. So, I don't know. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Derek B, writes, TH did get a chance for Magic and went 3 and out, 0 for 1 and a sack. That's not the same as the game actually being on the line with no other options. This is it. Either you get it done here or it's over. That's when you get the best of Taylor Heinicke. There was still more football to be played, and so you got some trash. But when you say, hey, Taylor, this is it. You got 4 downs. You don't get it done on the first 3. Here's 4th down. That's when you get the best out of Taylor Heinicke. So we saw it in Green Bay against the Green Bay Packers earlier. We saw it last week against Indianapolis. We saw it against Atlanta earlier this season or last season. We saw it against the Giants last season. When his back is up against the wall and there are no more options, this is it. We about to empty the clip. You get the best out of Taylor Heinicke. Problem is, he's not in that situation as often as you would like him to be. But when he's been put in that position here in Washington, that's why the man has as many game-winning or tying drives as he's got already in his career. FL Tools, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, shout out special teams. They look elite outside of the punt returner. And like I said, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna crush the special teams. They actually played well, but obviously the John Ridgeway penalty is a part of special teams. But special teams has been good. Tressway has turned it up, and he's been a lot better of late. John Livingston, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy JL Smooth writes, Louie got punched in the mouth today after starting the game 14-3. Our D is not the same without Poyer and Hyde back there holding it down. Josh had a bad second half from last week, and it carried over. I watched that entire game. The Jets are just good defensively. Like, people don't want to give them credit for how good they're playing. But it's amazing what a shutdown corner could do for you. It changes everything defensively. And Sauce Gardner's ability to lock down a side of the field allows them to do some creative stuff up front. But they've bought into Robert Saleh's defensive scheme. And so guys are doing what they need to do, and they're making it tough on the opposing team's offense. Despite Zach Wilson not being great, they're so good defensively that they're creating turnovers, they're creating opportunities, and I could see that game going in the direction that it went in when your kicker missed that field goal before halftime. I said, that's not good. That's not good. Or was it before the end of the third quarter? It was one of the two. I saw where it was going. I'm like, they're going to mess around, allow them Jets to hang around. And that's how the Jets have won this year. They've hung around, and found a way to win late. And they did it again today. Off to another world. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Off to another world writes, if Scott is here next year, you don't draft a quarterback. It will only mess up the young man's development. Get Scott out of here. Find a real coordinator. And I understand that logic. But if Ron's not going anywhere, you can't expect them to just sit on their hands at the quarterback position, because you're going to end up in this predicament again. And you get tired of having the same conversations. We had the same conversation during the 20 season. We had the same conversation in 2021. We're having the same conversation in 2022. At some point, you're like, you have to fix this problem. And so if it's not Sam Howell, they got to bring in another dude to come in here and compete. And whether that dude fits Scott Turner's offense or not, I don't care. If he's talented and this group ends up getting the hell out of here, the next group will come in. If he's talented, he'll figure it out. I hear what you're saying, though. Tony P56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, during the post-game show with Smoot and Paulson, they said Scott Turner's philosophy is to run plays he likes, not to find mismatches or make adjustments. Why? You can see that, though. It's Scott Turner, I've talked about this already. I may have done this on the film breakdown, but I could have sworn I've done this with you guys on one of the shows where I said there's 3 types of coaches. One that adjusts to his talents, one that has his scheme and players have to adapt to his scheme, and then there are coaches that can do both. Scott Turner is a guy that has his scheme, his system, and you have to acquiesce to what he's doing. There's no fitting to what guys do well. You have to be a piece in my system, right? To me, they make the worst coaches because either you do what I tell you to do and you got to be great at what I want you to be great at, or you can't fit. And so that means you need to be drafting specific players that fit exactly what you want to do. And to me, we've got talent. So you need to fit the talent to whatever it is they do well and take advantage of that. I've always long told you guys, a lot of times what it comes down to in this league is it comes down to my guy's better than your guy. I'm going to get my guy to football. It's not hard. I told you, a lot of these coordinators, some of them, not all of them, they make this a lot harder than it needs to be. Because at the end of the day, you saw what the Vikings did. When they needed a play, it was Hawkinson, it was Cook, or it was Jefferson. All right? To hell with trying to get this guy or that guy involved. And to hell with trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm getting it to Hawkinson, I'm getting it to Jefferson, or I'm getting it to Cook. We need it. So we're going to get it to one of the dudes that we think is going to make a play. It's not hard. Don't make it any harder than it needs to be. Off to another world. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Off to another world. Right. I think we're okay at O-line for the most part. Our problem is that our OC gives the defense an edge because he's so predictable. No read option, no nothing. I was actually floored when I saw that Heineke ran a read option, kept it, spun on one of the defenders, broke a tackle. That's the dumbass play Ron decided to challenge to see if he had the first down. But that was shocking because we don't do things like that. We don't run read option. We don't do creative stuff. We do the same shit, mesh concept, 15 times, fake screen one way, throw the screen the other way. Do the same shit every week with 1 or 2 wrinkles. So I was surprised to see a read option. Zach Sewell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Zach writes, ref get wrapped the Commanders a touchdown. This game is 2010 without BS, and y'all definitely not winning this game. And many, don't lie to yourself. Hey, Zach, pipe down, bro. Don't do that. Okay? Just let you know right now. Don't come in here talking big stuff like y'all was nice today because y'all won't. You do not want the smoke, bro, because I can give it to you any way you want it. Okay? If the refs don't get in the way, you might have got pass interference because your boy was over there trying to hog tie Curtis Samuel. So we might have got the damn penalty, might not have got the touchdown, but we might have got the penalty anyway. Okay. I'm not saying that was a great play, but it don't matter. Whatever the case may be, you guys weren't beating us 20-0 today. Okay. Because even if you pick that off, it's like a punt, and you ain't scoring shit with the way we was hitting your quarterback today. And we was shutting Dalvin Cook's ass down. So you ain't had no answers, which is why you didn't score any points from the opening possession all the way to the fourth quarter. So let's not act like y'all would have dominated this game without that play. It was already 7-3. You hadn't done anything in over a quarter and a half. What was going to make that change? So we got, and oh, by the way, they bailed you out with a pick six. Because that was a pick six. That wasn't pass interference. So again, pipe down, Zach. All right. Take that shit somewhere else. Because I'll lay your ass out flat. Today's not the day. You won the game. Take your ass home. I digress. Miko the Don, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Miko writes, I almost forgot about Percy not downing that ball. He didn't even need to touch that ball. That ball had backspin on it. It was coming back. And he took the ball into the end zone with him. Like, some of these dudes, I just be like, what are you? But that's the little stuff that I'm talking about. This is why we're 4 and 5. Because it's little stuff like that. Little stuff like that. We had them pinned for a good portion of the first half. And then you do something stupid like that. Just play the game the way it's supposed to be played. FL Toos, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. FL Toos writes, Tress Way played like he's asking the league why he ain't player of the month every month. Ridgeway after should have been 2 minutes plus two timeouts for the game. Well, it would have been like 145, 150 in a timeout. But at the end of the day, Ridgeway made a mistake. I'm not going to keep belaboring the point. It sucks. Can't do that. He knows now, right? Now, if he does it again, now we got a problem. But he knows, and everyone should know that. I don't know if he did know that, but if he didn't know, now he knows. You hate to learn in that manner because it cost us an opportunity. It didn't cost us the game. Okay, we were already going to be losing 20-17. It cost us an opportunity to either prolong the game or win the game. So to have an opportunity. So let's not act as if John Ridgeway's penalty is the reason we lost, because it's not. He did F us though, but it happens. He didn't mean to do it. To commit the penalty, I mean, he blew up the center. I don't think he looked to do anything other than blow up the center. FL2, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Z Smith made our offensive line look like Pee Wee unit today. The dude is good, man. I mean, what else do you want to say? I mean, this is one of those days where I'm like, I wish he would have taken his ass to the Ravens like he initially was going to do. But the guy's good, man. Dude is good. Amar, 2 times official. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, y'all hate him, but if Taylor Heineke starts the season, we're 6-3 right now. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But I mean, that's hindsight now, right? You can't go back and change the fact that he didn't start the season, and it is what it is. We're 4 and 5. We had our opportunities to be 6-3 despite him not starting the season. Win this game, beat the Titans, 2 games that were there for the taking, and we're not having that conversation. But again, we are what we are. Record says what we are, and we are a 4 and 5 team, and we deserve to be 4 and 5. Yin Yang Experience, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, players gonna come if Jay-Z buys us? Nah, I don't think players just decide, oh man, Jay-Z on the team, I'm gonna go play for the Commanders. It won't hurt us, but I don't think it's gonna have as big of an impact as some of y'all may think, honestly speaking. Gunny Man, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Gunny Man writes, up 17-7 in the 4th, defense dominated, run game taken over. Why was we even throwing? Let's not get carried away and act like the run game was all of a sudden unstoppable. Our run game was never unstoppable in this game, ever. The Vikings were never terrible against the run in this game. So let's not go crazy, start talking and making up stuff. All right. It was 17-7. They scored a touchdown on the next drive. It was never 17-7 with Washington with the football. Okay. It was never Washington with a 10-point lead and the ball. It was 17-7. They got a field goal. They made it 17-10. That's when Taylor Heineke threw the pick. And again, You could sit here and second guess Scott Turner, this, that, and the third. There was an open receiver over the middle of the field. It was two of them actually over the middle of the field, and he just threw it over everybody's head right to the safety. So again, that has nothing to do with Scott Turner's play calling. That's Taylor Heinicke making a boo-boo. So again, the run game was never dominant in this game. Never in a position to take over the game or none of that. So can't co-sign that. Edward Washington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Edward Washington writes, I think Vikes and Philly are going to get to the playoffs and get smoked. They are not battle-tested. Schedule is soft. I don't agree with that. You don't have to be battle-tested to be good. The Eagles are a great front-running team. Then just keep front-running. That's what Baltimore – the problem with the Ravens has been they're a great front-runner team. They get to the playoffs, they can't front-run, and they run into trouble. If you're the Eagles, just keep being a front-running team. You get to the playoffs, you can't front-run. We'll see what happens then. But just keep front-running until somebody stops you. The Vikings, what they've shown is resiliency. They're the opposite of Philadelphia. They're showing the ability to be down in fourth quarters of ball games and come back and find a way to win. So they're never quite out of a game. But that can catch up with you as well. Both of them are good teams. They find ways to win. I'm not going to, with the way the NFC is set up, I'm not going to badmouth either one of those teams. But anybody, I've said this already, you guys are seeing it firsthand, anybody can come out of the NFC. Anybody can come out of the AFC. This is why you saw the trades and all of the shit that we saw go down today or this week. That's why you saw all of that movement. Nobody's out of anything. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, end of the day, we got the same record as Brady. And with the Falcons lost today, that means the Buccaneers are back at the top of their division at 4-5. Hey, how about that? So that means the Buccaneers must have beaten the Rams. That's what you're telling me? Obviously, I haven't watched. That's what you're telling me. 16-13. So, and there you have it. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie Tee. Here on the post-game show, Vikings get it done 20-17. Washington blows a 10-point fourth quarter lead, loses this game 20-17. Had every opportunity to win this football game, and they did the thing that they always do, or usually do. Can't say always, because they've had their fair share of close victories this season where they've hung on. But they did the thing that they normally do, and that's find a way to lose a game that was there for the taking. And so we find ourselves three-game win streak over in the books, comes to an end. We're now 4-5 on the season, and we got Philadelphia Eagles on a Monday night. I wish it were under better circumstances. I was going to be so excited for this game. I'm excited to see Chase Young come back. I think that's going to happen on Monday. Don't know what's going to happen with Cole Holcomb or Jahan Dotson or any of that stuff, but I would love to see Sam Cosmi back this week. But at the end of the day, this one sucks. It's a missed opportunity. Just like the Titans game. It's a missed opportunity. And you know what's crazy is we've been better on the road this year than we have been at home. And we're 2-2. We've won 2 games at home and 2 games on the road, but some of our worst losses have come at home. And you need to protect the house. It ain't much. And people come in our house and disrespect us all the time, fan-wise, but should have beaten the Titans at home, should have beaten the Vikings at home. Sucks. Anyway, I digress. Thank you guys for this therapy session. We're 4 and 5. And it's just like, it seems like a revolving cycle. Like just over and over again. We go in the same shit. You know? Going to be pissed off at missed opportunities. Players are going to be like, we're close. Can't do this. Can't shoot ourselves in the foot. But we did. And we always seem to. Back under 500. So, got another super chat here from Luck. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes? Check your DM for more early supers. Yeah, right. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Guess Salah had a receipt for Buffalo Wild Wings. I guess he did. He said he had receipts. He was keeping receipts, and a lot of people laughed at him. They're not laughing now. I can tell you that much. Anyway, you guys get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll be back for Sunday Night Football overtime. Until then, you guys have a good one. God bless and good night. I got another super chat. Commander Optimistic 4 and 5. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, hey, bro, I was so mad when they showed Scott laughing in the booth after that trick play. I didn't see that part, but, I mean, it was trash. It was a stupid trick play. Luck, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, okay, it's these nuts in your inbox. Do I look like I got Boo Boo the Fool written on my damn forehead, Luck? Come on now. You got to come better than that. Anyway, I digress. All right, y'all, get out of here. I'll see you guys for overtime of the Sunday night game, Titans at Chiefs. Have a good one.